Shout out to Wilmington, Delaware. Appreciate the love. I'm hoping we can stop littering on the campus grounds. You know, too much litter on the campus grounds. I'm not feeling that. Please put the trash in the trash can, not on the street. I done picked up, somebody shitted. I don't know if that was human shit or dog shit, but somebody shitted on my school steps. I don't know why you would shit on my steps or let your dog shit on my steps. So please, 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 no more shitting on my steps, all right? Woo, we got the doggy out here. This dog keep on pissing on my damn yard. Who dog is this? Whose dog is this? See, it look like he gonna try to start shitting again. Yo, you. Hey, stop shitting in the yard, family, okay? I done found condoms, alcohol bottles all over the place. This is not the drink spot. We gotta do something about this dog. Well, he done already shit it, so I think he done for the night. He might be fasting too. Shit, I don't know.
Speaking of farming, I need some black farmers to get at me. You must know your trade, because I'm looking at farmland in Delaware. We need an acre or two for our school farm. We need an acre or two for our school farm. We're going to have crops and animals, cows, horses, chickens, turkeys. We might even do some pigs, black pigs, black pigs. We're going to have black pigs. We're going to have a farm, crops and animals. I will be going through the resumes. I will be going through the resumes to see if we got any black farmers. But if you are a black farmer, just text me. Dr. Umar, I'm a farmer and I'm in D.C. I'm in Virginia. I'm in Michigan. I'm in Pennsylvania. I can come help you anytime, brother. I'm a retired farmer. I love to help you set up your farm. Aquaponics. Oh, we about to take it over. Crops and animals. Cows, horses, chickens, turkeys. We might even do some pigs, black pigs, black pigs, black pigs. The black mice come in and we go squealing around the floor. Squeal, 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 squeal. Cows, horses, chickens. Buck, buck, the loosey goosey. You buck, 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 the loosey goosey. You buck, 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 buck. I'm gonna go to the pet store and I'm gonna get about 50 baby mice. And the minute one of you Negroes starts squealing about election day, I'm gonna throw a mice on your ass.
Memphis, Tennessee, October 5th. Memphis, Tennessee, October 5th. So we got back-to-back Memphis. Back-to-back Memphis.
I'm trying to tell y'all.
Black pigs.
All right, Cookie Crush Chat. Thank y'all so much for tuning on in to another live stream. We're going to go for about 2 hours today. Thank you guys again for all of your support. Cookie Crush Chat undefeated. Let's go.
FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. It's coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. It's 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 coming. Oh, it's coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG His common thought is personality. Be twerking, it's twerking.
All right. Thank you guys so much. This was the block party right there. It was in there doing the electric slide. It was getting it in, though. There weren't any children being educated, however, but at least they got it in. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning on. Already, I apologize. I'm actually feel better today than I did yesterday and the day before, the day before. So thank you guys so much for your patience. I'll probably be coughing throughout this live stream as well. I don't mean to, but it is what it is. We're gonna go for 2 hours, and what I like to do is I want to pull something out of the crates just to give people an illustration about how it is that Umar how he's unable to deal with real men. And the reason why I wanted to do this today is because someone had made an important comment yesterday, just how this has been going on for such a long time. And we can ask the question, how is it possible that Umar could scam the Black community since the St. Paul school scam at the very least for 11 years and continues to this day? Excuse after excuse. The latest excuse is because I've broken down and we've broken down the Cookie Crush chat. We've broken down the financial aspect of this scam and illustrating how Umar has raised bare minimum $2 million. It's closer to 2.6, 2.7. I proved it 4 different ways. The bare minimum $1 million, because now with Umar in 2025, he's saying he hasn't even raised $1 million. I have him in 2020 saying that he raised $850,000. I can pull that up and play it for. That was in 2020. That's almost 5 years ago. You can take that $850,000 and look at Umar Johnson's IRS filings for the year 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. And that it will equal $620,000. You can add that $620,000 to the $850,000 that Umar Johnson stated that he had raised by 2020, and you're over $1 million right there. But Umar's still telling people that he hasn't raised $1 million, and we're not even counting all the other money that he's raised. The truth is that bare minimum $2 million. My best estimate is 2.6, 2.7. I can prove it 4 different ways that he's raised at least $1 million. I can prove $2 million, and I can actually pull up and show it to you guys right now. I've done it many, many times. But the reason why I'm bringing this up here is because Umar he's always blaming people. It's always someone else's fault, and that's not manly. It's not manly. Umar always has an excuse. Now he's saying that because I've broken down the financial aspect of this school scam, and I've proven that Umar has raised bare minimum $2 million, and that he's saying that he hasn't even raised $1 million, that's impacting with his interactions with so-called Black contractors, because when they talk with Umar, they think he has more money than he actually has. And so they're overcharging him. But didn't Umar say that he stopped using Black contractors because they were lazy and they were stealing from the school, and they were overcharging and they wasn't showing up on time? Sounds like Umar. That's what it sounds like to me. But isn't that what he said? And so then he said he was going to go to the Latinos, and Brother Jose, remember this? Hit the 1. See, Umar thinks that people forget that all of this is forgotten. No. I remember all of this. And so he said he was dealing with Latinos for a while because they do better work than Black people. He always disrespecting Black people. And then he says, he says, I had to go to the white man. I had to go to the white people. And he did. He had some white people up there doing some work. I could pull it up. That's when Maria went up there, and I actually have the video of that. So which one is it then, Umar? Is it that the blueprints that was slowing you down? Right? Remember? Was it the donors because they wasn't donating enough going into 2019? Was it the white lawyer? Remember that? Was it the Archdiocese of Chicago? Remember that one? Was it the conscious stripper? Was it Tariq Nasheed? Was it Boyce Watkins? Was it the HVAC tech? It's always something with this guy, and it's always someone else's fault except Umar. That's not manly. And he don't know how to deal with no Black men. And part of the reason why he's in the situation that he's in right now is because he preys on Black women. He manipulates Black women. And then he's not manly in the sense that he knows how to operate in the world as a man and take personal accountability for what he's doing and all of his failures instead of blaming everyone else. Now it's my fault. First, it was the black contractor's fault. Then it was the Latinos contractor's fault. Yet then it was he had to go to the white man. And then now it's the black contractor's fault again, because I've spoken the truth about how much money he's raised. Now they're trying to price gouge him. That's not how business works either, Umar. What you're supposed to do, what you should have done back in 2019, is got a general contractor, and they would have made arrangements for all this. You tell them what the budget is. You never done that. You never even, the last time Umar even gave an update on how much money he raised was in 2020. It's been about 5 years. And he said he had $850,000. I can pull that up right now. That's not how business works. They don't say, well, based on how much money you have, that's how much I'm going to charge you. No, that's not how that works. How it works is you get a general contractor, and this should have been done back in 2019 when after purchasing these abandoned buildings in Wilmington, Delaware, Umar should have been sitting on $850,000. Where'd that money go? He's not manly. He has to blame everybody else. And then when people tell the truth, somehow it's their fault too. No. I want to give you guys, because I was thinking about this, I want to give you guys an example of how Umar, not only is he dangerous and he's causing a lot of problems out here in these streets, but I want to give you guys an example of how Umar does not know how to deal with real men. Furthermore, Umar's he's ultra emotional. Any little thing and he's triggered. He goes from 0 to 100 just like that. It's not manly. That's the point that I want to make. Okay, so I want to play that video, and I already have it all queued up, and it's not the whole video. We'll just play a segment of it. And then we're going to get back to the video timeline here, trying to get caught up on these Umar Johnson videos. And the next one in the sequence will be from the 8th, which was 4 days ago. And we'll pick up from there, and we'll get through that one. And hopefully the one after that one. And that'll set us up for next week. At least we'll have to have a good run next week to get caught up on everything. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ravati Moon, for being here, and Laurie and Brianna. And Kev's in the building. How's it going, Sequoia? Thank you for being here. And Ram Richard as well. And Blue Sink, I believe. Thank you so much. I want to, yeah, he blamed the HVAC guy for a long time too. You guys remember that? He always blaming somebody. A Black Wolf says, let's be real about it. Lenon, once your video started getting traction, you, sir, slowed Umar's funds up. Oh, okay. You, sir, slowed Umar's funds up. That's the main reason why he hate yo. yeah, it is. Because the thing is that there's plenty of people who've done Umar Johnson videos. There's all kinds of people that have done Umar Johnson videos. But my videos tend to get the most amount of traction, most amount of interaction, most amount of support. So over the years, Umar recognizes that, and yeah, it has messed up his money because he hasn't been able to scam like he's scammed in the past. The money's not coming in like it used to come in. Now, his Cash App got shut down. I didn't have anything to do with that. When his PayPal, the first time it got shut down, I didn't have anything to do with that. When his GoFundMe got shut down, where he raised in a year and 2 years and 10 months. Well, let's say in 3 years where he raised $400,000. I had nothing to do with that. They shut him down because of fraud, and they started issuing refunds. We talked about that yesterday. But when it comes to the everyday average person who back in the day was following Umar and was sending Umar money consistently, a lot of people woke up because of my videos and other people's videos. But it's just because I got the most amount of views. I still do. I get the most amount of views dealing with Umar. He's always trying to blame somebody. So he always tends to blame the people who are getting the most amount of attention. You know, there was a time where he was blaming Tariq Nasheed for things. Tariq Nasheed and Boyce Watkins, and how they were quote unquote haters and all this type of thing. And I'm not saying that he was blaming them for that's why the reason why the school wasn't opening, but he was blaming them for different things in terms of why things weren't working the way that he wanted them to work. He was blaming Tariq Nasheed. See, so he blames anyone who gets any traction when they talk about him. Anyone who's expose him to any significant degree. Okay, and again, I'm not saying, well, Tariq Nasheed did expose him to a degree, but I'm not saying that he blamed Tariq Nasheed as to why the school's not open. But the idea that he has critics out there, it doesn't matter if it's Tariq Nasheed or you for that matter, he's going to find some way to insinuate that the reason why the school's not open is because of you, the haters. Me, the haters. No, the school's not open because Umar does not want the school to open. The school's not open because this has been the most amount of money that Umar has ever raised and received in his life, millions of dollars at this point, though he says he hasn't even raised one. Millions of dollars. It's come through this school scam. And the longer he holds on to it and longer he continues to postpone the grand opening, the more money he can collect. And it's really that simple. That's all this comes down to. That's all this comes down to. And so anyone who has compromised the scam in terms of the financial, and that's where the scam is at. It's not so much the school. It's about the school being used to get the money. The scam is the money. See, so anyone who interrupts that or sheds light on that and provides levels of transparency that Umar is unwilling to provide, that he recognizes that these people are a threat, including me. So I've never reached out to Umar. You know, I've never threatened him. He's threatened me. He's reached out to me. See, I haven't posted any message. I haven't sent anybody like that. He posted my docs, my personal information on the Instagram page years ago. But why? Well, because he recognized that my videos were then and still do get traction, and as a consequence, it impacts money because people are realizing more and more people are waking up to the fact that he's nothing more than a con man and a charlatan. And the school scam is just about money. That's all it is. Let me real quick, and thanks, Black Wolf, for Super Chat. Let me just make this clear to everyone. Umar raised $1 million. Umar raised five, and I didn't play this yesterday, but I can pull this up for you guys if you want me to. Umar stated that he had raised $500,000 in 1 year. That was back in 2015. You mean to tell me that since that time, Umar hasn't raised $1 million? See, that's a scam. He always understates how much money he's raised, and then he overstates how much money he needs. And the scam just keeps going, and it keeps going and keep going. Right? Excuse me. Yesterday, I played the receiver. Umar says, "Baltimore, we need another $1 million." Baltimore, can we get another $1 million? Well, if you're saying another, that means you already have $1 million, which is consistent because by the end of 2016, you should have been at about $1 million because you said that you had raised $500,000 in 1 year. Again, he started raising money in the spring of 2014 for the St. Paul, specifically for the St. Paul school scam. By the way, someone said, well, Lenon, you're not being fair because you didn't play the whole receipt. I don't want to hear that shit. Okay, I'm always fair with Umar. Okay, as a matter of fact, just as an exercise, because it doesn't change the fact that Umar stated, and not only did he say that he needed another $1 million, which means that he already had $1 million, he also posted for that Facebook page, he posted that they were asking for, I think he said 2 million or 1.5 million, but that he can do 1 million shortly. He was already there. So what I'm going to do, because I people don't listen. I always come with integrity, always come with the receipt. So I'm gonna show you the fucking receipt right now. And they said, well, you're not playing the whole thing. I'm gonna play the whole shit right now. I know one thing, can't nobody fuck with me when it comes to the receipts and when it comes to the research. Not one person, and not one person can get on this internet today and prove me wrong when I say that Umar has raised bare minimum $2 million, but for sure, I can show you guys right now that because Umar is saying that he hasn't raised $1 million, I can easily prove that he raised $1 million. That's a cakewalk. 2 million is easy too. My best estimate is 2.6. A little hard to prove that, but 2 million, easy. Okay. So what I'm going to, let me pull it up. Give me 1 second. Matter of fact, I'm going to play it from his Facebook page. I don't want to hear nobody telling me nothing. And we're going to listen to it live right here. Give me 1 second. I've always been fair with Umar. It's an issue of integrity. Here we go. We're going to go to Umar. We're going to go to the original post on his Facebook page. His Facebook page, this was his original Facebook page. Give me 1 moment. It's not showing. Oh, here it is. Okay, I want to show everything so you guys can see the whole thing. All right, here you go. Let me do a screen share. And thanks, Black Wolf, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Again, I'll challenge anyone to get online and prove me wrong. Prove that Umar has not raised $1 million. You can't do it. I can prove easily that he raised over $1 million. Just by going to the IRS filings, like I said, for the year 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. You guys can look this shit up yourself. See, a lot of people don't know. They don't know how to do no research. They don't know what they're talking about. Again, 2020, $177,892. 2021, $116,585. 2022, $121,646. 2023, $204,822, for a total from 2020 to 2023, $620,945. That's just from 2020 to 2023. We're not counting 2024. We're not counting 2025. We're not counting 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, or 19. Sit down. You take the $620,945, and you can take, let's say, when he said he had raised $500,000 in 1 year, so that would be from 2014 to 2015, and add those two together, you're already at over $1 million. And in that case, we're still not counting 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2024, or 2025. 6.5 more years. We're not even counting, and he's already at $1 million. He's been raising money for 11. We're not even counting 6 of them. I challenge anyone to prove me wrong that Umar has not raised $1 million. I just proved it to you guys. And I can go into my notes and pull up back in 2014 when he said he raised $500,000. I can go back when he said he had $200,000 at a particular point in time. I can go when he started saying $700,000. I can go when he started saying the $750,000. Remember the Mike Nice show? Remember when he was on Roland Martin? What year? What were those years? Okay, whatever those years are, take that $750,000 and just simply look at his tax filings for upcoming years. And you add that up, it's over $1 million. Easy. Again, I challenge anyone to prove me wrong. You can't do it because I have the receipts and I've done the research and numbers don't lie. Okay, now, let me share this with you all. I'm going to do a screen share. Let me know if you guys can hear this audio. Here we go. Okay, I don't want anyone saying make no, he didn't play the whole thing. That's not what Umar is saying. No, I'm going to play the whole thing. This is from Umar Johnson's Facebook page. If you look at in the top right hand corner, December 22nd, 2016, and it's at what does it say? 11:26 a.m. You see how it's popping up? I'm not making this up. You can go on here. As a matter of fact, if you guys want to, I'm going to post it inside of the chat room. You guys go look at this for yourself. Okay. I just posted inside the chat room the link. So y'all go look at it yourself. Umar, what he types here is interesting. He says, Dr. Papa really likes this Baltimore school. It's in good condition. Stage, gym, kitchen, daycare, or you see how I hit that see more and it just added, you can see. So I'm not, this isn't a fake receipt. Daycare area, office space, kitchen, daycare, office space, large parking lot, plenty of classrooms, but they want 1.9 million. We will be able to do about 1 million shortly. Okay. Now, does he specifically say that he has $1 million? No, he doesn't say that he doesn't have $1 million either. What he's saying here is that we will be able to do about 1 million shortly. So we can say that Umar had about $1 million in 2016. Bare minimum, we can say that. But now let's watch the video. Let me know if you guys can hear the audio. Click for chats undefeated. Here we go. And I'm playing the whole thing. I'm not going to even pause it or nothing. Y'all hear the audio? Okay, cool. Thank you. How you doing, Indigo Goddess and Jesse and God Little Princess? This is directly from his Facebook page.
It's a nice school. We was just on the inside. They got a gym, lunch rooms, class space, office space, big parking lot, all the land around it. It's a pretty nice spot. So Baltimore, what's up, Baltimore? We need another million. Baltimore, can we get another million? Not just... You feel me? So I need y'all to make them donations. GoFundMe.com/Dr. Umar. Get them donations up. I need some Christmas gifts. You feel me? I need that Kwanzaa. So make sure y'all drop something in the mail. FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 6872, Philadelphia, PA 19132.
Yeah, go on and put it in there.
We're going to get one of these schools. We already know
Thank
that.
you, Joshua.
The one in Pennsylvania wasn't bad either. You feel me? The one in Pennsylvania wasn't bad either. So, you know, it's me, yours truly, the Prince of Pan Africanism. We down here in Baltimore. Shout out to Baltimore. Dr. Umar's in town. I'm going to see everybody Monday. I'm going to check y'all out on Monday, Downtown Cultural Arts Center, 401 North Howard Street. Make sure y'all come on.
It's possible, but I think
you know what I mean? But I'm liking the school right here, Baltimore, Frederick Douglass City.
Another million.
Frederick Douglass City. Can we do it? Can we do it? What's up? Can we do it? Maryland, D.C., DMV. What's good? I need everybody to make them donations.
Yeah.
I need everybody to make them donations. Go to GoFundMe, drop the donations. We ain't worried about no haters, you feel me? We too blessed to be stressed.
What's up, yellow man?
We too blessed. Haters is shaking in the boots because they know it's coming. They know that Alpha Male Academy is coming right now. You understand? Ain't nothing they can do about it. August 21st, 2018, 8/21/18. It's Papa season. You understand? You understand me? We about to take this Pan-African game to the next level. I already got the conscious community in a damn headlock. I'm about to put the whole ed world in a headlock. You understand? Baltimore, I want to see y'all Monday night. Tickets is going fast. Don't wait till the last minute. They're going to sell out. Tickets is going fast, Baltimore. I'm in your town right now. We're about to go look at another school. This is just one. We got a couple of them we doing in Baltimore today. You feel me? Then I'm going to go on up to everyone's place, grab a couple books, try to slide through the Great Blacks and Wax Museum. Y'all know I love the Great Blacks and Wax Museum. Go in there and go get recharged by the ancestors. Then I'm going to go on down to the Baltimore Harbor, bust a little grub. Actually, I'm going to go to my favorite, one of my favorite African restaurants is in Baltimore, the Senegalese joint. Shout out to Yassa's in Chicago. Chicago, you're going to see the Prince soon. Jacksonville, Florida, I'm going to see you Wednesday. Jacksonville, Florida, get ready. It's been 5 years. I'm back. I got the book now. I got that doctorate now. That's right. Prince, get ready. Detroit, next Friday, Detroit. Friday, December 30th, Detroit. Hotlanta. Atlanta about to be the first one to sell out. Atlanta love Papa. I got 3 Atlanta schools I got to look at. Atlanta, I got 3 schools in Hotlanta I got to look at next week. You understand? So I'm trying to find out which one of y'all cities going to help me get the rest of this money so we can end this shit. Let's get the school. Let's end this shit. We're going to open up the school before 8/21. So we got Atlanta schools coming up. We got Delaware schools. We got some Jersey schools, PA schools. I'm in Baltimore right now. Who's going to step to the plate? I need y'all to call them NFL and NBA athletes. Tell them Dr. Umar need a meal. We almost got 1 meal. We need another meal. Let's step.
See, now he's saying we almost got 1 meal. See? I'll let it keep going.
To the plate. And you homeschoolers need to stop popping that shit. I don't want no homeschool. I want a real school. I'm a nation builder. You talking to a nation builder. You understand? You want to run a school out your kitchen? Do that. You want to run a school out your bedroom? Do that shit. I want my own school. This Garvey here, I want my own school. Self-determination. Talking about start a homeschool. I'm a nation builder, damn it. What's wrong with you? I don't want no homeschool. Hell, I want a homeschool. I want an institution. Brick and mortar, you feel me? So this is the Prince of Pan Africanism, Baltimore, Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, Monday, December 26th, the first day of Kwanzaa, Umoja, Downtown Cultural Arts Center. Doors open at 4, program 6 to 8, book signing 8 to 10. Get your tickets, Prince of Pan Africanism, Prince of Pan Africanism, Prince of Pan Africanism.eventbrite.com. Ashe.
Ashe. Okay, so real quick. Umar initially says, we already got 1 million. Baltimore, can we get another 1 million? Right? Can we get another 1 million? Well, that's because if you say another, that means you already have 1 million. Okay, later on, he says, we almost got 1 million. Okay, let's give Umar the benefit of the doubt. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say, instead, he had $950,000. It doesn't make a difference because in 2025, by now, he would still have, he would have raised way over $1 million. That's the point. But I want to show you guys something else. I'm going to go into my my timeline archive. See, because it's not isolated. Because him having $1 million by this time is consistent with what he was saying prior to this. So I'm going to provide a receipt for you guys right now. I'm going to type in. We're just going to go to where he says 500,000. Because there's times where he says 200, 250, because I have it all outlined over time as he's changing the numbers. We're going to go to December of 2015. This is a year prior to him doing this video that we just watched, where he says we need another 1 million. Okay, we're going to go to December of 2015, and I'm going to play it. I'll play the video for you guys. He was in Georgia at this time. And we're going to go to the 1 hour, 26 minute and 30-second mark. Okay, listen to what Umar says here. Here we go.
You don't know the bloodiest slave revolt in American history. August the 21st of 1831 or 1832. Your son will relive that trail, relive that.
Okay, this is 2015. Remember the receipt that I just showed you guys from his Facebook page? That was from 2016, right? Keep that in mind.
Experience is very important. Some of the homes where the war took place still stand. A donation to GoFundMe.com. Please make that donation. Make that donation, brothers and sisters. Get us that school. $500,000 in a year. I'm thankful. I'm humbled. I'm proud that y'all gave me that. But you just spent $3 billion on Christmas. We should have.
Okay, what did he say right there? He said $500,000 in 1 year. There's another year that passes, and then he says we need another 1 million. He says we almost got another 1 million. Or we almost have. Then later he says we almost have 1 million. I think that's just corrective on Umar's part. If he has $500,000 in 2015, why wouldn't he have $1 million by 2016, a year later? The video where he says we need another 1 million, that was in December of 2016. The video that we're watching now is from December of 2015. You guys understand what I'm saying with the timeline here? He started raising money at the middle of 2014. But by the time he gets to the end of 2015, he's already saying that he has $500,000. So it makes sense that by the time we get to December 22nd of 2016, for Umar to say, we need another $1 million. And then, of course, later he says, we almost have $1 million. The point is that here we are in 2025, which is not over 9 years later. And Umar's collecting money for those whole 9 years. And he's still telling people that he's only raised, he's raised less than $1 million. He's a con man. And we can take the $500,000 that he stated in 2015 in that video that we just watched, and we can add up his tax return, IRS tax returns for nonprofit status. We added up for 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023, and he's at $1.1 million right there. And we're not counting the money that he raised in 2016, 17, 18, 19, 2024, or 2025, 5.5 more years. So the point that I'm making is that, well, basically what I'm saying is, can't nobody fuck with my research. You can't. You can make excuses for Umar. You can. All right. You can do that. But the receipts don't lie. And I can prove $1 million 4 different ways. At least 4 different ways. Okay. But I can also prove $2 million as a bare minimum. And then outside of that bare minimum, I can say comfortably, based upon my research, $2.7 million over the last 11 years. Okay. We're going to leave it right there. All right. I want to give an example of Umar in terms of his inability to deal with Black men. And again, he mainly targets single Black mothers. So he wants to do his best not to deal with real men, because real men are going to challenge him. They're going to question him. They're going to shed light on him scamming. They're going to shed light on him sexually exploiting these Black women. They're going to ask questions about where all this money has gone. Right? They're going to ask critical questions about, okay, well, how is it that in 2025, Umar is saying that he hasn't raised $1 million? But there's a guy on YouTube that can prove 4 different ways that he has raised at least $1 million. Okay. And I can prove another way that he raised $2 million by now. But again, my best estimate would be 2.6, 2.7. You know, let me show you, let me do this. I have Umar on record saying that on average, he raises $125,000. If we take $125,000 a year per year, if we take $125,000 and then we multiply it by the amount of years that he's been raising money since the St. Paul's College, which was 2014, the spring of 2014, then we can take $125,000 and multiply it by 11, and we get to $1.375 million. You all want to see the receipt? I could play it for you. Anybody got a calculator in the Cookie Crush chat? A calculator? Watch this. Here we go. Because he's looking goofy in that car that time. This is from 2020. Check it out.
Peace and Black Power family, good morning. Peace and Black Power family, good morning. Peace and Black Power family, good morning. This is Dr. Umar Johnson, the Prince of Pan Africanism. I'm only going to be with you about 10 minutes. I have to get ready to go into the dentist's office for a teeth cleaning. Good morning to all my fellow North Philadelphians.
This is October 20th, October 9th, 2020. Listen to what he says here and have your calculators ready.
Good morning to West Philly. Good morning to Southwest Philly, South Philly, Germantown, Mount Airy, West Oak Lane. Shout out to Darby, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Allentown, Sharon Hill, all of my Pennsylvania family. Good morning to you from the Pennsylvania Pan-Africanist. Good morning, Texas, Houston, and Dallas. Good morning, Boogie Down Bronx and Brooklyn and Harlem and Staten Island and Queens. Good morning to Trenton.
What's
and
up,
Camden.
Michael and Mike?
Good morning to Newark and Elizabeth City. Good morning to Baltimore and DC, to
And Jess,
Richmond and
how's it going,
Norfolk
Jess?
and Hampton. Good morning to Los Angeles and San Diego and Oakland. Good morning to Detroit.
Well, the thing is, his IRS, and I'm gonna pull that up. I'll pull that up too for you guys. What he's filing with the IRS is more than $50,000 a year. Some years he's not filing, but the point is that I would propose real quick, and not to get sidetracked, but I would propose that what he's filing with the IRS is he's underestimating how much he's actually raised. You think someone like, and again, people can say, well, how do you know that? Listen, I'm just saying, knowing how Umar Johnson is, you think he's reporting cash to the IRS, that he's received cash that's been given, you know, what he calls raw cash? You think someone like Umar's going to be reporting that? You know, another thing, just real quick for people, I'm getting sidetracked, real quick, people to think about, he's only filed with the IRS out of all the 11 years that he's raised money. He's only filed with the IRS that he's raised money for 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. 4 years out of 11, 7 years of collecting money. It's actually closer to six and a half, but 7 years. This to be fair, 6.5 years of collecting donations, and Umar is not even filing with the IRS to keep his nonprofit status. It's all considered to be what? Personal income by law. And that's why he has massive tax liens, because he's collecting all this money. And guess what? He was doing whatever the fuck he wanted to with that money because it was personal income. That's why by the time you get to 2019 and he acquires his abandoned buildings, all the money is gone. He should have been sitting on, what was it, $850,000? That was gone by that time. But that's because that money was personal income. That's why he got his first, remember, he started this in 2014 with the St. Paul's. He didn't have tax exempt status to start, but he was able to get it, I would think, by 2015. So you got he's raising money 2014. He doesn't get taxed, and that's all personal income. At some point in 2015, he gets tax exempt status. It could be 2016, actually, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. 2015, so he has tax exempt status, but he doesn't report to the IRS how much he's collecting. And you can only do that for so many years, and then it gets revoked. I can pull up that document too. So it gets revoked in 2017. All the money that Umar has raised from 2014 to 2017, that's personal income. That's why if you go and look, if you know how to research, you go and look at his financial situation during that time, he has massive tax liens, personal tax liens. He's not working a job. That's all donation money, but it's his personal income. And he was doing whatever he wanted to with that money because it was personal income. See? So then 2000, look, follow me on this. That's what I'm saying. Y'all people, listen, y'all say what you want to, but you can't fuck with the research. Real talk. And I don't mean to sound arrogant, but I know what I know. And everything I say here, I can back it up. I'm gonna pull up the IRS file in just a moment, if I remember. So 2017, it gets revoked. In fact, hold on. Don't worry, I got the receipt. Well, how do you know that? I talked about this years ago. It's nothing complex. It's nothing new. Oh, this is a PDF format. Let me see something. Hold on 1 second, because I don't think it's going to let me pull it up that way. Video. Oh, here it is. PDFs. Okay. Yeah, I'll walk you all through it. Watch this. See this right here? I've shown this many times, long time ago. Give me 1 second. So if you look right here, tax exempt organizations search Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey, RBG Leadership Academy. You guys can look this up for yourself if you want to. Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey, RBG Leadership Academy. There's the original EIN number right there. Okay, and notice it's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at that time. Auto revocation. So this status, which is tax exempt status, wherein donation money is not subject to taxation, it gets revoked in 2017. He didn't have a tax exempt status in 2014. In my estimation, he probably got it in 2015, but he didn't file, and you can't find it. You can't find him telling the IRS how much money he raised for 2014, 2015, 2016, or 2017 or 2018 or 2019, but you only see him start to report to the IRS in 2020. But the thing for tax exempt status, but the thing is that he had tax exempt status at this time prior to this date, which is, what is this? October, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August 16th of 2017. Prior to that, he had tax exempt status, but he wasn't reporting how much money he was collecting, which you're supposed to do by law. So what happens is ultimately they revoke his nonprofit status. See? And it says there are organizations whose federal tax exempt status was automatically revoked for not filing a Form 990. We're going to look at that in just a moment. 990, that's a form where you tell them how much money you have, how much money you raised, how much money you've spent. Return or notice for 3 consecutive years. Important note. So in other words, after 3 consecutive years, you don't file the proper paperwork to let them know the financial. They revoke your tax exempt status, and that's what happened with Umar in 2017. And all of that money, even though he had tax exempt status, it was his own personal income, but it wasn't subject to taxation until the revocation hits. Okay, just because an organization appears on the list, it does not mean the organization is currently revoked, as they may have been reinstated. Now, Umar never reinstated this EIN. What he ended up doing in 2020 is setting up a new EIN. Remember, he's still collecting money, but he's not reporting as he's collecting money from 2014 through 2019. He either has tax exempt status, but he's not telling the IRS how much money he's collecting, or it's been revoked and he doesn't have tax exempt status and it's considered to be personal income, just to make that clear. Okay, so this is 2017. Now, what we find is that 2017, he doesn't have tax exempt status. He's still raising money. So now it's personal income again. 2018, still raising money as personal income. 2019, still raising money, still personal income, because he doesn't have tax exempt status. All of that money, by the time we get to February of 2019, he gets whatever he can get, which is these bandos in Wilmington, Delaware, dilapidated for allegedly $400,000, and he doesn't have any money left. He should have been sitting on $850,000 based upon his own words. Where did money go? Well, he'd been living off of the money because it was for the vast majority of the time, it was considered to be personal income. People think about this. See, if we really want to get technical, Umar had tax exempt status for about 3 years to start. And then he had tax exempt status since that time. He's had going to 2020, 2021, 2, 3, 4, 5 for about 5 years. So altogether, what, roughly 8 years? But those 3 years, he wasn't filing any paperwork, so it's all considered to be personal income. That's why it got revoked. So if we really think about it, technically 5 years out of the 11 years that Umar Johnson has been collecting money, he's reporting to the IRS. And what that means is that for 6 years out of all these 11 years, it's all personal income. People think about it. See, now, see, it should become clearer too for people when people think about it. Why is it that where did the money go? In 2019? Where did the $850,000 go? Well, Umar spent that money because he saw it as personal income, and it was subject to taxation too. By the way, that's why if you guys go and look at Umar Johnson's financials, you'll see that it'll correlate to when he has tax exempt status and when he doesn't. You'll see the correlation when he does have tax exempt status. When he doesn't have it and it's been revoked, that's when there's a spike in terms of the amount of taxation he's subject to because it's all personal income. And furthermore, that's when you start to see these massive tax liens because he ain't got money to pay it. So I showed you this one right here. This is the tax exempt revocation, status revocation. That's in 2017. Okay, keep that in mind. All right. By the way, the only years that I have been able to find where Umar actually indicated that he received donation money to the IRS to maintain his tax exempt status is for the year of 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. If anyone is out there who can find me receipts from the IRS, like I'm showing right here, that will show that Umar filed with the IRS to indicate how much money he raised in 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015, and 2014, and you send me those receipts, I will cash app you $100. Let's get back to this video. Here we go.
The Flint, Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo. Good morning to Milwaukee, and good morning to the family in Omaha, Nebraska, Little Rock, Arkansas, Jackson, Mississippi, Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, St. Martin, St. Vincent, St. Croix, to Bermuda, the Bahamas, the United Kingdom, Birmingham, UK, Ghana, Nigeria. I'm coming back to Nigeria. November 21st, November 22nd. I will be there. Okay, the economic conference being hosted by PLO Lumumba. PLO Lumumba and the Prince of Pan Africanism on the same stage. Nigeria, get ready. Nigeria, get ready. Abuja, get ready for the Prince. I've never been to Abuja. I've been to Port Harcourt. I've been to Lagos. I've been to Enugu State, but I've never been to Abuja. I'm coming home, Nigeria. But this is what I wanted to share with y'all. FDMG update. FDMG update. First of all, some of you in the loyal...
By the way, because someone had pointed this out, Umar initially, his exemption type was 501c4. Okay, that's the initial one that he set up. That's why there's a different EIN number. This EIN number is 46-5707643. Once this gets revoked, because he wasn't filing proper paperwork with the IRS for 3 successive years, he loses his nonprofit status. So what ends up happening is Umar continues to raise money. It's all considered to be personal income. But then when we get to 2019, he still doesn't have tax exempt status. And so by 2020, I believe it's 2020, he gets tax exempt status. And he sets up a new EIN number, but then also his exemption type is no longer 501c4, it's 501c3. Y'all, and the person who saw that, good observation. I've talked about this in the past. He's a con man. Man. He just set up a new entity, new EIN number. I think he changed, from my memory, he changed the name slightly. Okay, we'll verify this in just a moment. And then he changes the type of nonprofit organization that he was setting up, and then he continues to scam. And he's been doing it ever since. See, this time around, he's been reporting to the IRS at least for some years, because he knows that if I don't do it for 3 successive years, I'm going to get that one revoked. He's a con man. And he learned the first time. See, really, he should have had tax exempt status prior to raising money in the first place. But his goal was to raise first $1 million and then $2 million for St. Paul's over the course of 2 months. That was Umar Johnson's original goal. He changed it, obviously. At a certain point, he said he wanted $5 million. See, it's not even reasonable. And at that time, he didn't even have tax exempt status. He had no plan. He wasn't prepared or any of that stuff. See? He's a con man. A poor one, too, literally and figuratively speaking. Here we go.
Have not sent me the receipt of your Loyal Donors Club transaction so I can add you to the Loyal Donors Club WhatsApp chat. If you register as a loyal donor, and I'm so thankful for those of you who have, if you've registered as a loyal donor, screenshot your registration receipt and text that to me in WhatsApp so I can add you to the FDMG Loyal Donors Club chat, brothers and sisters. Okay, sign up for the Loyal Donors Club. Go to drumarjohnson.com, click on bronze if you can do $50 a month. Go to drumarjohnson.com, click on silver if you can do $100 a month. Go to drumarjohnson.com and click on gold if you can do $250 a month. Go to drumarjohnson.com and click on platinum if you can do $500 a month. Go to drumarjohnson.com and click on diamond if you can do $1,000 a month, brothers and sisters. Don't forget 10% off all Ifa Tunde apparel. until 11/11/20, the 189th memorial of Nat Turner's execution, brothers and sisters. Join me in Nat Turner Land, Virginia. So the passcode to get your 10% discount off of Ifa Tunde apparel at drumarjohnson.com, the passcode is UPRISE. The passcode is UPRISE. The passcode is UPRISE. So this is what I want to say. FDMG update. Okay, Loyal Donors Club, they get special updates that y'all don't get. Loyal Donors Club WhatsApp group, they get special updates that you all don't get. Good morning to you, Sister Nisi. Good morning to you. Okay. Also, I'm going to be starting the For Sisters Only podcast. For Sisters Only podcast.
He never created that. He said his ADHD is crazy too. He can't stay on topic.
We'll be getting started. That will be $9.99 a month subscription if you want to join the For Sisters Only. Information relevant to black women, single black women, married black women, professional black women, relationships, health, mental health, well-being, self-care, the whole nine. That's coming soon. The For Sisters Only podcast, $9.99. Tell you, FDMG update. Listen to me carefully. The only thing that will prevent us from having the most honorable Marcus Garvey Elementary School ready, the only thing that will prevent us from having the most honorable Marcus Garvey Elementary School, the only thing that will prevent us from having the most honorable Marcus Garvey Elementary School ready by New Year's Day is being able to afford the HVAC repairs. HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning. HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning. The only thing that will stop us.
He didn't know what that meant until we told him too, by the way. I remember that. This is because he did this video after we clowned him about it. Anyway.
From being able to open up on New Year's Day or about that time, because we got to get our approval from the city, right? To open up the building. Okay.
Okay. New Year's Day, that would be of 2021, by the way.
Will be HVAC. The estimates that I have gotten for HVAC, none of them were under $250,000. None of them were under $250,000. None of them were under $250,000, brothers and sisters. Okay? We can afford the plumbing with the money we have left. We can afford the electric with the money we have left. We can afford the carpentry with the money we have left. I think we can squeeze the fire alarm system. I think we can squeeze the sprinkler system. We cannot squeeze the HVAC. It is $250,000. Please donate. Get on your Cash App, $FDMG School. Get on your Cash App, $FDMG School. Get on your PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. PayPal.me/FDMG Academy. PayPal.me/FDMG Academy, or mail it in P.O. Box 9634.
Yeah, I think I'm playing the wrong video. Hold on one second.
Wilmington, Delaware. P.O. Box 9634, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. Now, let me say this. Let me say this. If you were to ask me,
no, this is the right
Dr. Umar, at the rate that you have been receiving donations for these past 6 years, if you were to ask me, Dr. Umar, at the rate
from 2014 to 2020, just to be clear about the timeline, I'm big on the timeline,
that you have been receiving donations for the past 6 years, how long would it take you to get the additional $250,000 you need to complete the HVAC repairs and open the building? At the rate that we've been receiving donations for the past 6 years, how long would it take you to raise the additional $250,000 to cover your HVAC repairs? How long would it take based on the rate that you've been receiving donations? Brothers and sisters, I would argue that we get approximately $125,000 a year in donations.
We're going to stop right there. It's way more than that, and I can prove that too, but we're going to give Umar the benefit of the doubt. $125,000 a year. But remember, Umar stated one year that he had collected $500,000 in 1 year. Remember? Didn't I play that today? If I didn't, I thought I played it. But now and by the time we get to 2020, in that video, I believe it was 2015, where he said that he raised $1 million in 1 year. Excuse me, $500,000 in 1 year. Yeah, 2015. But now, you know, you go from 2015, where he's saying that he had raised $500,000 in 1 year, and in 2016 he said he needed another $1 million, which means he already had $1 million. But we give him benefit of the doubt because he says almost later. Okay, 950, whatever, shit. But he goes from that roughly $450,000 a year in 2014 and 2015 to by the time we get to 2020, now he's saying he's getting $125,000 a year. What? Don't even make any sense, does it? That's because, listen, Umar, he's a con man. That's all. He's a liar. He's a con man. I remember years ago, I was listening to this guy, and he had made a comment, and I said, well, how do you go? And this I'm paraphrasing. How did he go from $1 million or around $1 million? Let's say $950,000. Just give Umar benefit of the doubt, because later he said that we almost got $1 million. Okay, 950,000. Shit. How do you go from 950,000 in 2016? Then when he's on the Mike Nice show and on Roland Martin in 2018, he says we have $750,000. Hit the one. Don't make me pull up the Mike Nice, because then we can put the timeline together even further. We can pull up the Roland Martin and we can put the timeline even further. How do you go down from $1 million or almost $1 million to down to 700,000 over time, over years? Don't make me pull it up. See, I'm giving you guys what's supposed to be the grand finale for the documentary. I'm just giving it to you now because Umar was running his mouth talking about it. And I know he was talking about me. He's talking about Cook Crush Chat. Now there's people online. They said I raised, what do you say, $3 million? No, I never said you raised $3 million. 2.6, 2.7 is my best educated guess, but I can prove easily $2 million. Okay. But let's do this. We're going to prove $1 million right now. In this video that we just watched, Umar stated that on average, he's receiving $125,000 a year in donations.
Years, how long would it take you to raise the additional $250,000 to cover your HVAC repairs? How long would it take based on the rate that you've been receiving donations? Brothers and sisters, I would argue that we get approximately $125,000 a year in donations.
Okay. $125,000 a year in donations, and this is in 2020. Okay, so follow me on this. We're going to go $125,000, and we're going to multiply it by how many years up to that point? 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We're going to multiply it by 7 years. And really, we should be multiplying it by 6.5, because Umar didn't start raising money for the St. Paul school scam until the spring of 2014. So we're going to go 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then that's 6 years. We're going to go 6.5 years. That's what we're going to do. We're going to multiply this by 6.5 years. Umar, at the time of him doing this video in 2020, should have been sitting on $812,000. $812,500. These are his own words. Hold on one second, though, because it gets really crazy. I just want to give you guys one other thing. Give me 1 second. This video is from August 9th of 2020. So really, we should be going with, it's actually over 7 years, right? Yeah. Yeah, because it's August 9th. Okay. So let's go back and we're gonna redo the math. We're gonna go $125,000. And then we're going to go 2014, 15, 16, 17. Excuse me. That's 2015. Hold on. Let me put myself back up here because I'm actually using my fingers. I want y'all to see this. We're going to go to 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So it's 6 years. That's what it is. Did I say 6.5? 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 26. Okay. So I'm actually, I overcharged Umar. It should be 6 years. So we're going to take 125,000 and we're going to multiply it by 6 and we get to $750,000. Okay, so let's put that inside the chat room. $750,000 in 2020. Okay, I'm always fair. I'm gonna leave that up there. $750,000 by 2020, which is consistent with what he was saying, like on shows like the Mike Nice show. You remember that, or the Roland Martin? Matter of fact, let's go ahead and let's go back in time here. Why not? The Mike Nice show was, see, this is what I mean. This guy, he's such a con man. I'm leaving this up here right here. $750,000 in 2020, right? Let's go to the Mike Nice show.
Raise the money that was necessary. We originally wanted $45 million, which would allow us to acquire the school and also pay.
Okay, the audio is really low, but that's because it's Mike. I think it fell down at this point. But he's saying that they wanted to get $4 to $5 million here. He kept ratcheting the number up
for the rehabilitation.
Yeah, I mean, let's ram. We're just going to go with 6. I'm going to give Umar the benefit of the doubt. Okay, I'm actually being more than fair, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, if you guys don't mind. All right.
Okay, we dropped it to $2 million, which was the basic asking price to acquire the school, but that doesn't give you any extra capital to refurbish the school.
Yeah, see, his mic wasn't on his lapel mic wasn't fastened properly. That's why it's so low. But it'll come up. Y'all just I hope you guys can hear. Can you guys hear what he's saying? Let me know.
Okay. And get it up to code, because you're changing it from a college to a grade school. Okay. And the code is totally different. And because it is a historical school, you got to put elevators in there, fire, water, sprinklers. There's a lot we would have had to do. The $2 million wouldn't have gave us enough money for that. But we haven't raised $2 million.
And for my viewers out there, sorry to cut you off, and your school was going to be kind of like a border school?
Residential academy.
Yeah, for the young black.
Yes, sir. Okay. So now what we're doing with the money we've raised, which is approximately $700,000.
He's saying $700,000 in 2017. Did you guys hear what he said? I know it's low, but it's such a huge point right here. Because if memory serves me correctly, this is when I realized how much of a con man Umar was. Because I remember him saying that it was $125,000 a year in 2020. But then in this video in 2017, he's saying, what did he say, 700,000 or 750,000? Let's see.
Dropped it to $2 million, which was the basic asking price to acquire the school, but that doesn't give you any extra capital to refurbish the school and get it up to code, because you're changing it from a college to a grade school, and the code is totally different. And because it is a historical school, you got to put elevators in there, fire, water, sprinklers. There's a lot we would have had to do. The $2 million wouldn't have gave us enough money for that. But we haven't raised $2 million.
And for my viewers out there, sorry to cut you off, and your school was going to be kind of like a border school?
Residential academy.
Yeah, for the young black.
Yes, sir. Okay. So now what we're doing with the money we've raised, which is approximately $700,000.
As of today.
As of today.
Okay. He's saying in October of 2017 that he had raised $700,000, right? But we just did the math in 2020. Umar should have been at $750,000. based upon what he was saying, right? 125,000 a year. The math isn't adding up. You mean to tell me we are to believe that from 2017 to 2020, and let's just say the year 2018, 19, and 20, because this is October 12th, 2017. Let's say 2018, 2019, and 2020, Umar only raised $50,000? He's a con man. This makes sense? Now, I know the figures don't make sense, but you see how it makes sense in terms of him being a con man and a scam artist? During the Mike Nice interview in 2017, Umar said that he had raised $700,000. But we also played the video where he's sitting in the car because he's homeless, literally in 2010, and he says he raises $125,000 a year. That was in 2020. Yeah, that was 2020. Okay, well, that would mean that in 2020, Umar should have had raised $750,000. But in 2017, he says that he has 700,000. He's a con man. And he's still telling people in 2025 that he hasn't raised $1 million. Which brings me to the next exercise here, if you guys don't know. I could put the Roland Martin where he says 750,000. I mean, it's a moot point at this point. It's just, the figures are all over the place because he's a con man. He's still telling people that he hasn't raised $1 million in 2025. But in the Mike Nice interview, he said $700,000. That was in 2017, right? There you go. 700,000 in 2017. I'm gonna keep this up here. 700,000 in 2017. All right, let's go and look at the IRS filings. Okay. Let's go to the year 2020, because I think that's the first time he actually told him how much money he was collecting. Con man. Okay, it's processing. Give me a moment. This is from 2020. Yeah, the only thing is it's so small. I hope you guys can see it. And I got to take this off. If you look down there for 2020, it says in year, beginning year, but it doesn't show how much he raised yet. Oh, actually, I think this is the one where he didn't file in 2020, but he backfiled and told and showed how much he had raised in 2021. Yeah, so total assets, savings, and yeah, okay, this is assets and savings. In 2020, he's saying that he had $572,000. Okay, where did the roughly, because in a Roland Martin, well, we'll just go with the 700,000. Where did the $130,000 go? You get what I'm saying? If you look at the top there. Okay, this is before. Well, no, well, I guess you can say, well, I know what it is. What it is that he didn't have any money left at this point. What he's claiming as, no. At this point, he had purchased FDMG by this time, because this is 2020. So what this would have to mean is that in addition to, well, this proves my point again. Shit, he's saying that a non-interest bearing account, he had money sitting in there, at the end of the year, it was $572,000. The purchase price for the trap bandos was $400,000. Umar said it was a little bit more than that. That'll get you to $1 million right there. Hit the one. Meanwhile, understand, he's just telling the IRS how much money he has. He's not telling them how much he collected for 2020, 2019, 2018, 17, 16, 15, 14. Because at that time, he didn't have tax exempt status. 2020, he gets tax exempt status. but he doesn't report how much money he raised prior to that. And so on this, in this filing right here, he doesn't even put how much money he raised, but he tells people, he's telling the IRS how much money in cash in a non-interest bearing account, which makes no sense, how much cash he has left over after purchasing these abandoned buildings, right? Because this filing is for 2020. He purchased abandoned buildings in 2021. Listen, I'm a logical and reasonable person. I'm not a math whiz, but I like stats. I'm a stats guy, sports stats, on base percentage, steals, OBS. You want to go to the basketball, field goal percentage, free throw percentage, steals, rebounds. I've always been into that kind of stuff. I got that from my grandmama. The point is that right there shows you that Umar had $1 million, because the purchase price is $400,000. Umar says a little bit more than that, right? When he was on the Lord Jamar show, okay. Just like we gave you some grace when you said we almost got $1 million, but we said, okay, we'll bump that down to 950. Okay, now you're saying that it was a little bit more than 400,000. Okay, how about 425,000? How about that? All right, well, if we take $425,000 and then we add in the amount of money that he had sitting in a cash non-interest bearing account of 500, and let me get my calculator, $572,409 plus $425,000 comes out to $997,409 in 2020. I proved it another way. But that's not even the point that I want to get to. Okay, that's kind of a sidebar. Let me pull up the year 2021 where Umar filed with the IRS. Because now things are going to really get interesting, real interesting right now. Remember, he said 700,000 in 2017 on the Mike Nice show, right? This is for 2021. If you look there carefully, and I can't zoom in, I should probably just pull it up the other way, but you guys just bear with me on this. It says $116,585 for the current year, money coming in, and then he backlogs for the prior year of $177,892. So he's backlogging. He didn't show it on 2020. I wasn't there, but he does it here. All right. So if Umar raised $700,000 in 2017, then we would need to add, matter of fact, let me just write this down, because there's years that are still going to be missing. 2017, he's at $700,000. And then he's reporting for the year of 2020 to the IRS that he brought in $177,492. That's for the 2020. And then for 2021, he's saying that he brought in $116,585. And then remember, there was money that's sitting in an account, right? How much was that? I forgot. There's also $572,409 in cash that's sitting out there. Shit. And he's still telling people that he ain't raised $1 million in 2025. This guy is a con man. Let me get my calculator. Let me get my calculator. All right, so let's add all this up. Umar said that he had $700,000 in 2017. We're going to skip over 2018 and 2019. This guy, we're not even counting that. Okay. He's filing with the IRS in 2020 that he brought in $177,492. So we're going to add $177,492. That gets him to up to $877,000. And in 2021, he's saying that he raised $116,585. That gets him to $994,077. And then he also has $572,409 sitting in a non-interest bearing account, according to his 2020 filings, $572,490. He's at $1.5 million in 2021. And here we are in 2025, and he's still telling people and lying, saying that LenonHonor and the Cookie Crush chat, they're saying that I raised more than $1 million. What are you talking about? I just proved it a sixth way. In 2021, Umar had raised $1.5 million. But that's not all, folk. Let's bring up his tax filing for the year 2023. Or we're on 2022. Hold on one second. No, 2023. That's what we're on. Give me 1 second. We did 2020. We did 2021. Oh, now we're doing 2022. My bad. Yeah, we're at 2022. Let's pull this one up. So to be clear, 700,000 in 2017. By the time we get to 2021, Umar's at $1,566,486, and this is in 2021. And again, we're skipping years. We're not even counting those other years. We're skipping 2 years. Here's Umar in 2021. Okay, let's look at 2022. Here we go. Notice for that year, he reported that he raised zero money. He's a con man. We can't really use this one, but guess what? If we go and we look at 2023, all is revealed. I can't wait till 2024 come out. It should be coming out soon. Let's go to 2023. There you go. 2023 shows the current year. Can you guys see this? Because I'm getting an error message on here. Yeah, let me know if you guys can see this in the chat room. Let me just check. Am I still streaming? Can you all see this? Yeah, I think my stream stopped. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, the chat room's not. Oh, okay. Yeah, my chat room wasn't updating for some reason. I apologize. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Okay, thank you. And shout out to everybody. Strago Nito. I didn't mean to do all this. I'm gonna have to change the title for this video. So let's take a look at the money. The money's funny. Well, hey, Tata, how you doing? I ain't seen you in a minute. Hope you doing all right. What's up, Stars, Golden Child, Swago Nito? Yeah, the chat is slow. Okay, yeah, my bad. Because it's okay. And bear with me. I just want, I didn't mean to go here, but let's go here real quick. So for 2023, Umar had raised 200 and let me put this back up here. In 2023, he had raised $204,822, and then he backlogs what he raised in 2022, which we didn't add because we didn't see that on the 22 form. This is the form 990. He claims that he raised $121,646. Okay, let's go ahead and bring up our trusty calculator. Remember, Umar is at $1,566,486 in 2021. Okay. There's that $1,566,486 in 2021. Now, all we're going to do is we're going to add 2022 and 2023 to this. We're going to add $121,646. And then we're going to add from 2023, $204,822. Now we get to $1,892,954. This would be in 2023, ladies and gentlemen. $1,892,954 in 2023. Remember, we're not counting 2018 or 2019. We're not counting 2024 or 2025. Yeah, did I do my math wrong? Ram, let me know. If I did the math wrong, y'all let me know. I mean, we can recalculate this shit. Maybe we should do a show just on the money part, because this is supposed to be part of the document. It's supposed to be the grand finale of the document, breaking all this down. But bare minimum, by 2023, Umar, $1,892,954. Remember, the purchase price for these trad bundles was $400,000. We can say he spent another $200,000 on different things, maybe $300,000. Okay, there's still about $1.1 million missing going into 2023. And we didn't count the year 2018 or 2019 or 2024 or 2025. Now, what we can also do is that let's just go with what Lenon. Let's go with what Umar said, is that if he raises on average $125,000, because I know the math doesn't work when he says that, because he raised way more than that. In fact, in his filings for 1 year, what did he say? He had raised $204,000. He also said back in the day in 2015 that he had raised $500,000 in 2015. In 2016, he said he needed another $1 million. So even when he says that he's only raising about $125,000 a year, that's a lie. But let's go ahead and go with Umar's lie, because we're going to fill in the gaps. We're going to fill in 2018, 2019. We're going to also add in there 2024, and we're going to add in half of 2025. Well, how do we do that? Well, Umar, remember, he said he raises $125,000 a year, right? So we got 3 years. We got 3.5 years to add. Okay. So let's add that first year, 125,000. Let's add that second year, 125,000. Let's add that third year, 125,000. And then we got a half. Okay. So 75,000. Well, let's say 70,000. Okay. We'll just to be nicer. Okay. Now we're at $2.3 million. What's my best estimate too? 2.6, 2.7. Okay. We've been very lenient too with Umar, haven't we? Because we know he's raising more than $125,000 a year, obviously, right? But if we even go by based upon that and just fill in the 3.5 years, now we get to $2,337,954 in 2025. Oh, I messed that up real bad. Well, let me try that again. $2,337,954 in 2025. See, now I can say that I can prove $2.3 million. Easy. What did we look at too, by the way? Did I make shit up? No. We took Umar Johnson's own words on the Mike Knight show. He said $700,000, which was bullshit. Because remember, in 2020, he said he had only raised, what did he say, $850,000? Because he did say that in 2022. I haven't said it in 2020. But then another year, he said 700,000. So the math doesn't work. The math is just not mathing. But now what I can say is that Umar has raised a bare minimum of $2.3 million, $2,337,954 in 2025 since 2014, since the spring of 2014 to The summer of 2025, Umar has raised $2,337,954. And what do we look at too, by the way? Because anyone can do this. What you do is you go back and you listen to the Mike Nice show and listen to what Umar said in the Mike Nice show in 2017, $700,000. You start there. You could also go to the Roland Martin interview where he said $750,000. You're still going to get over 2 million. I know my shit. Can't nobody fuck with me. Real talk. Not to be arrogant, but it is what it is. $700,000 in 2017 on the Mike Nice show.
Okay.
A regular day school. And we're going to start with a regular day school.
Yeah, 2017. Listen carefully to what he say.
Dropped it to $2 million, which was the basic asking price to acquire the school. But that doesn't give you any extra capital to refurbish the school and get it up to code, because you're changing it from a college to a grade school. And the code is totally different. And because it is a historical school, you got to put elevators in there, fire, water, sprinklers. There's a lot we would have had to do. The $2 million wouldn't have gave us enough money for that. But we haven't raised $2 million.
And for my viewers out there, sorry to cut you off, and your school was going to be kind of like a border school?
Residential academy.
For the young black.
Yes, sir. Okay. So now what we're doing with the money we've raised, which is approximately $700,000.
Okay, so I'm just want to be clear. Anyone can do this exercise. Yeah, I know the volume is low. I apologize. I'll have this in the document. I'll raise the volume. But to be clear, Umar said that he had raised approximately $700,000, and this is October 12th of 2017. Anyone can start there, including you Umar Johnson followers, including the two brothers that Umar lied to them and was talking shit about how there's people on YouTube saying that I've raised 2 million, 3 million. Well, listen, I just proved the shit and didn't even mean to. They can do this. 2017, Mike Nice show. Shout out to Mike Nice. He got mad at me. He even contacted my wife. Some people don't understand boundaries. You do that shit, I'm done with you. But he was mad because I was using the clip, and I told him, listen, it's fair use. You shouldn't be mad, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, shout out to Mike Nice. 2017, Umar stated that he had raised approximately $700,000. You can start there in 2017. You can skip over 2018 and 2019. Don't even count that yet. And just go to the IRS filings. I showed them now. I showed the EIN number. You can look that up yourself, and you can pull up those receipts yourself and look for the filings for 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. On some of those years, he doesn't actually put how much he raised, but he does backlog it in the following year. This makes sense. I said this earlier. But then he also outlines how he has cash sitting in a non-interest bearing account. I believe it was over $500,000. Just add the shit up. And then when you add it all up, including the cash that's sitting in a non-interest bearing account, then just be kind to Umar and take him at his word which is not true, when he says that I've raised about $125,000 a year, and just add in, therefore, 2018, 2019, 2024, and 2025. So really 3.5 more years. And you multiply 125,000 per year at 3.5, and you add all that shit up, and what you'll get to from 2014 to 2025 is that Umar raised a bare minimum of $2,337,954 fucking dollars. And there's still no scoop. Got him. See, now, Umar, if you shut your fucking mouth and not been talking crazy on that show, because everybody know you was talking about me, talking about the Cookie Crush chat, I wouldn't even be doing this right now. But now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to change the title to this. And then when I have some time, I'll put together a little presentation. It'll be like maybe 5-10 minutes max. And I'll put that up here on YouTube so that people who don't want to sit through all of this, they can just see the stats and the statistics and look at the numbers for themselves, and they can get out their own calculator and prove conclusively that you have raised, based upon your own words, based upon your IRS filings, that you should have raised $2.3 million bare minimum by 2025. And you've spent, I would estimate, probably about $600,000, maybe $700,000. Where's the rest of this money, Umar? Let's give Umar some grace. We're going to say that Umar, in addition to buying these trap banners for $400,000, a little bit more than $425,000, that he spent another $400,000. And we're going to just say round that up to $850,000. Let's say that Umar, he spent about $850,000 on after he altogether purchased these trap bandos, paying taxes that he shouldn't have had. Just your donors, y'all paying it, but the taxes that accrue because he didn't have tax exempt status, that's y'all. That's money that he wasted, about $120,000 of y'all's money right there. We're gonna add that in. Excuse me, the HVAC. The blueprints, all this other shit that Umar comes up with, and let's say that's $800,000, and that's being very kind, because I ain't seen no $800,000, including the purchase price of $425,000. I ain't seen it any type of work that would legitimize $800,000 altogether. That's crazy. But we're gonna give Umar the benefit of the doubt. We're gonna take $2,337,954. And we're going to subtract $800,000. Hell, let's take $900,000. We're going to subtract $900,000 from that. There's about $1.4 million missing in 2025. He's a con man. The school is a con. It's called a long con. And you know what? Real quick. There's about $1.4 million missing. Let's take that $1.4 million and divide it by 11, which is the amount of years Umar's been raising money since the St. Paul's College. It's about $130,000 a year that's missing. See, if I told people, listen, there's $1.4 million, $1,437,954 missing, they're gonna be like, well, that's a lot of money. No way. But if you spread this shit out over time, over the past 11 years, we're talking $130,723 a year. Shit. With Umar's lifestyle, he got a gambling problem, he got a substance abuse problem, he likes to eat, he's gluttonous, he's traveling all over the world, living in and out of hotel, motel rooms, ordering food out all the time. Traveling all over the world. And understand, sometimes he's coming out of pocket. Them chicken shack shits that he's doing. When he be having sex with these women, he send them some money. I got receipts on that too. That's expensive. Dealing with strippers, that's expensive. Sex workers over there in Ghana, that's expensive too. I covered that. Can you see someone running through 130,000? Shit. Not to be like that, but that ain't shit. So for those of y'all who are wondering why this school isn't done, rental cars, yeah, Erica, rental cars. He don't even have his own vehicle. He rents cars with donors' money. He ain't got a job. How much does it cost to rent cars for a year, over the course of a year? And it's not just when he's back in Philly living in his mama closet. He ain't paying no rent. That's Section 8 housing. How much does it cost? It's not just when he's back over here in Philadelphia and going up to these trap bandos in Wilmington looking like a pookster. It's also when he's out and about, when he's traveling here and there, renting cars here and there. He don't even have his own vehicle. How much does that cost over the course of a year? You add it all up, he likes to gamble. He likes to turn that heat down. He got a substance abuse problem. That's why he's always sniffing and shit and playing with his nose. Pay attention. He sniffed more than Stephen A. Smith sniffed. Pay attention. $130,000 to run through in a year. That ain't not for someone who has those types of addictions and lives that type of lifestyle. No, that's chunk change. So anyone wondering why this school isn't done, now you know why. It's not about getting the school done. It's about continuing to rack up money. By 2025, a bare minimum, $2,337,954. Now, Umar, you watch your mouth. See? Because if you hadn't opened your mouth and was running your mouth, and I'm going to pull it up right now before we get into the show. Actually, we're about to wind down. We ain't going to get I'll talk about before we get into the show. Boy, that's wild. Before we start winding this show down, family, Let me pull up what Umar said that goes to show you how much of a liar he is. And he was talking about me. He was talking about the Cookie Crush chat. Watch. Well, Umar, if you had some kind of control over your mouth this month, let me pull this up. Which one is it? Is this it? Let me see. Yeah, this is it right here. Here we go.
He owns all metal. He owns the sword, the gun. I don't know if I would have made it this far. Anything that has to do with war, things that jumped out dollars, which we never broke a mill, right?
Paint.
Here we go. Watch this.
Done with the paint.
We're done with the
Floors and
doors.
Classroom locks.
Yeah.
Doors. Because we still got to replace the girls' bathroom door, the boys' bathroom door. We got to get all the rooms rekeyed, right?
16 rooms?
More than 16, but 16 got to be done with the floors.
Okay.
And we got really the floors because the locks, that ain't too big of a deal, right? We got to get the floors done. The problem is the YouTubian struggle stream has been telling people I collected millions of dollars, which we never broke a mill, right?
I was going to drop an N-bomb. Umar, I just proved it. We all proved it. Hit the one. $2,337,954 based on your own words and IRS filings. See, and if you didn't say that, I wouldn't even have done this today. And again, I'm going to put this into it'll be the end of the documentary. That will be the icing on the cake that blows everything out. Because I'm going to go step by step, and not only just what I share with you guys now. There's all kind of other stuff, receipts that I'm going to pull up year by year. What Umar was saying, how much money he raised, and what you guys will see is that if you project as you go through, you'll see that the numbers don't even make sense because the numbers actually decrease in some instances. How does it decrease from one year to the next based upon what Umar says? Because he's a con man. It'll all be inside the documentary. I just proved Umar $2,337,954 bare minimum in 2025. Today, you should have raised at least that amount. And again, my best estimate is 2.6, which is not much. Remember, not much further beyond what's being said. There's people said 3 million. Yeah, it's possible. 4 million? No, I don't think so. No. Is it possible? Yeah, but it's not probable. I think it's highly unlikely. I give Umar the benefit of the doubt. Bare minimum, $2.3 million. Best estimate, like I've been saying for a long time, 2.6, 2.7, which is close to what I'm showing here. 3 million, it's possible. Is it likely that it's 3 million? I wouldn't go that far. Is it possible? Yes. But I give Umar the benefit of the doubt. Okay. Benefit of the doubt. Bare minimum, $2,337,954. But he gets on this radio show, and in 2025, he's still lying about how much money he's raised.
That ain't too big of a deal, right? We got to get the floors done. The problem is the YouTubian struggle stream has been telling people I collected millions of dollars, which we never broke a mill, right? So
Again, 2016, he said we got a million. We want another million, which means that you already had a million. Later, he said we almost got a million. So we give him the benefit of the doubt. Back in 2016, 9 years ago, let's say he had $950,000 back in 2016, 9 years ago. It's a little less than 9 years ago. 8 years and 10 months. 8 years and 7 months. You mean to tell me that since that time, Umar hasn't raised $50,000 since 2016, the end of 2016? No, he's raised way more than that. And we can just look at the IRS filings in and of themselves, or when he says that he raised about $125,000 a year. Anyway,
every contractor I bring to the school think what?
You got money.
We rich. Right? So
money.
they coming up 75,000.
See, he's making this shit up. This is what I mean by he's a pathological liar. He knows that he's raised more than $1 million, but he has to concoct this story to fit this narrative. First, that he hasn't raised $1 million, which I've already disproven. Bare minimum $2.3 million. But then this is how he comes up with the excuse as to why the school's not done, because You know, there's people who are saying, like Lenon Honor, the Cookie Crush chat, that I've raised more. That I've raised more than $1 million, or that I've raised millions of dollars. And so these black contractors, see, he starts spinning this false narrative. He's a pathological liar, and he keeps going with it. And see, these brothers right here, they don't know the research. They haven't done the math. I know the research. I haven't I've done the math. I'll challenge anyone out there to prove me wrong. Again, you can start with the Mike Nice interview in 2007. You can do the Roland Martin interview. I can't remember when the Roland Martin interview. I think it was 2018. It could be 2017, but you can start with the Roland Martin interview when he said $750,000. It doesn't matter. You can start in 2015 when he said he had raised $500,000, because you can start there, $500,000, and add up all the IRS filings. And then for all the other years where there's no filings, you can just take the $125,000 that Umar says that he raises per year on average, after he had raised $500,000 back in 2015, and just add up all the other years, which would be 2016, 17, 18, 19, 23, 2024, and 2025. So altogether, it'd be 6 more years. So you just multiply that by 125,000 and you add it to 500,000. He's over $1 million right there. So it doesn't matter, because I can prove it many different ways. I think I've proven it now maybe 6, maybe 7 ways now. I'd invite anyone, and no, really, it doesn't even make sense, because ain't nobody researched more than I have. Okay, I don't mean to be arrogant. I have all the receipts. Okay, the statistics don't lie. I'm challenging Umar to prove me wrong. We'll go there, because anyone who thinks that somehow he hasn't raised $1 million by 2025 at this point, either you haven't done the research and you're ill-informed, or you're delusional. So I ain't got no time for that. Okay, do the research first and then get with me. Okay, get out of the delusion first and then get with me. Otherwise, I'm challenging Umar to prove me wrong. He can't do it, because receipts don't lie.
Putting an extra woo on it. 50,000. You see what I'm saying? They don't know we don't have that money because they listen to them idiots on the internet, right? Claiming he collected $3 million. Where?
See him clicking and shit. I never said Umar collected $3 million. I said 2.6, 2.7. But I just proved today that Umar has raised $2,337,954 in 2025. He's telling people these brothers in 2025 that he hasn't even raised $1 million. He's a con man. See, that money, there's so much money that's missing. It's incredible. See, Umar doesn't want to account for at least $1,337,954. He doesn't even want to account for it, like he never received it. He's a con man. Let me play the rest of this. We're gonna be done.
But
$3 million, both my schools be up. Yeah. What's wrong with you?
But couldn't the books be open?
Well, what about with $2,337,954? Could you at least got something started? Now the brother's asking, can the books be open? Listen what Umar said.
To these potential investors, meaning I open up books to you to show you what we're working with, to actually show you where we at.
Oh yeah, if I find somebody who got some real money, that ain't no problem.
Right.
But ain't nobody come to the table like that. You feel me?
Have you brought it to them though?
It hasn't been a need. And the reason
there hasn't been a need. See this guy?
The reason there hasn't been a need is the donations that we have received have been sufficient for us to get the job done for the small school. When we get across the street.
See how he talking? Boy, he's a master manipulator. When we get across the street, you ain't even done with the small school, goofy.
We might have to go there. You got to remember, the people complaining about the school are YouTube being struggle streamers, not serious businessmen or women, just coons. You see that?
You know what, though, Umar? I have better business acumen than you do. I earn more. I don't mean to go here, but I earn more income legitimately than Umar does with this school scam per year. Real talk. See, Umar, these are just shenanigans. This is like you trying to avoid the truth that you're a con man and that you're not a businessman. You're a failed businessman. You've never been successful with anything dealing with money. I mean, literally, you're homeless. You've been homeless since 2019. You're on the road right now, but I guarantee you, you're going to end up back inside of your mama's closet, which is Section 8 housing. You don't have a car. You're a deadbeat. You got massive tax liens from donation money that goes on the books legally as your own personal income. You got massive student loan debt, don't own a vehicle, a deadbeat, don't take care of your kids, been on child support since 2020, for over 22 years. You've had your license revoked due to unpaid child support several times. And yet, I'm a struggle streamer. See, and it's really not about me. I really, what it is, Umar, is you being unwilling to deal with the reality of your situation. Okay. You're a lifelong loser, and where you're at in life today proves it to be the case. Yeah, you get dressed up, you get manicured up when you do these podcasts, but then you return right back to your Prince of Pan Africanism, and you be looking smoked out, you be looking all dirty and filthy. Real talk, living and live streaming in your mama's closet, raised bare minimum $2.3 million. And you living in your mama's closet. You're the ultimate struggle streamer. You're the struggle scammer. Okay? Let's be real about this. Umar Johnson. We almost done.
I'm saying, who've never donated. They just don't want to see it successful because it's me.
Right.
No, it ain't got nothing to do with that, Umar. That's the narcissism and making excuses. Like I said in the beginning, he always made, Andre, here we go. Look. A person can just take 2014 to 2024 of Umar raising money at $125,000 a year, which is 11 years, and you get to $1,375,000. See, there's different ways you can prove it, but I can prove, at the end of the day, what did I get? What was the figure that I came up with? What was it? $2.3 million. I can prove that. Yeah, people are saying 3 million. Yeah, it could be 3 million, but I'm going to give Umar the benefit of the doubt. That's just me, right? What was the figure that I come up with? 2.3 million. Yeah, $2.3 million. Yeah. So let me. I just want to put this in here before we wind this down. $2,337,954 in 2025. It's not letting me post it. Did it go? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I'm gonna change the title of this video, and I'll put this figure in there. And again, I would like for Umar to prove me wrong. But in the future, what I'll do is we'll do a show, and we'll go and rehash this, and I'll make it very, very concise, and that way people can just come in and they can watch. It'd be a 5-minute, 10-minute presentation, and then they can see the stats and see the statistics, look at the figures, and then they can keep it moving. Okay. Let me play whatever else he says right here. Then we wind this down. Thank you guys again for tuning on. I'll get the super chat.
You got people that, like you say, that never donated, but they talk like that to you. Like they talk like they're on that type of time.
Yeah. He did. I can pull that up too. Yeah, he said he had raised 220 in 3 months. Yeah, I have that. In fact, let me see if it comes up quickly here, because if it does, I can pull that up for you guys right now too. 3 months. Okay, it's not coming up there that way. Let's look up 200,000. I have it in 2015 where he says he had raised 320,000 so far, 88,000 on GoFundMe and 200,000 in the bank. This was back in 2000. This is in the first year. Within the first year of raising money, Umar saying that he had raised $320,000, but also have him saying that he had raised $500,000. So which one is it? See what I'm saying? Let me see if this other thing comes up for what you were referring to, though. I do have it because I've actually played it before. I think I played it before. Okay, 200,000 in 2014. That's an update that he gave. This is after April. When did he start raising money? Was it April? April. June, July. Yeah, in 3 months, I got him saying 200,000. Yeah, that's what you're referring to right here. Yeah, that's this one right here. Let me see if this comes up. I think it's this one. If not, I'll find it. This is from 2014. Ross Carby. Okay, and this is part 2, not part 1. That's this one right here. Here we go. Don't worry, I got the receipts. Okay, well, it's going to take me a moment to find it, though, so you can bear with me.
For doing that, because that's almost $100,000 a month that we've been doing.
Damn, he said $100,000 a month. But in the other video, he said $125,000 a year. $100,000 a month. He's been raising money for 11 years. What is that? About 130 something months? Yeah, something like that. Boy, that's crazy. Didn't he just say that? Maybe I misheard. Let's go back.
Thank you all for doing that, because that's almost $100,000 a month that we've been doing. A lot of money has been coming in. The PayPals have been coming in. The checks, the money orders have been coming in. But the goal is not $200,000. The goal is $2 million.
Yeah, listen, receiving $100,000 per month for 11 years would amount to a total of $132 million. Now, am I saying that that's how much it? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the idea that this guy is in 2025 is telling people that he hasn't raised $1 million is asinine. Anyone who believes that shit, you batshit crazy like Umar. He said almost 100,000. Well, after 11 years, 100,000, that's 132 million. Umar doing real good. No. I'm not saying that he did, because that would be totally unfair. I'm just throwing it out there for something for people to think about. Okay. Well, this guy, he's nuts. But Pretty Brown Eyes, this is that video right here.
Thank you all for doing that, because that's almost $100,000 a month that we've been doing. A lot of money has been coming in. The PayPals have been coming in. The checks, the money orders have been coming in. But the goal is not $200,000. The goal is $2 million. So when you go home tonight, I want every one of you to go to the website for the fundraiser, drumarjohnsonschool.com. Most of you know my personal website, drumarjohnson.com. But this is drumarjohnsonschool.com. And whatever you can give, you give. I simply ask one thing. Give me no less than you're giving to other people who are robbing the black community blind. Give me no.
There you go. Here's another example too, by the way, while we're at it, Pretty Brown.
Peace and love, black family. It's the Prince of Pan Africanism, Dr. Umar Johnson. I'm live here in Sacramento, my first visit to the city. I want to send shouts out to all the brothers and sisters and children and elders who came out to show love to me today. Make sure y'all support the Bay Area black community, YouTube, Facebook. Make sure you get down and support them. They're trying to work on a lot of positive things. The bank, the credit union, Independent Black Institute.
This is August 5th of 2014. This is roughly 5 months after Umar started raising money for the St. Paul's College.
I'll be back soon to support them out, so make sure you get down with them. Also, make sure you send a donation to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. We need as much money as we can. We're trying to raise $2 million to buy the St. Paul's College in Lawrenceville, Virginia. We had about 200,000, but we got a lot more to go. So please write a check, money order, send it, payable to FDMG Academy, to P.O. Box 6872, Philadelphia, PA 19132. Check me out on the website, drumarjohnsonschool.com, drumarjohnson.com, and let's get it done. Brothers protect the queens, queens support the brothers, and let's all of us take care of the babies.
Wow, hearing
Peace and love, Black.
It's incredible hearing him say that now because let's be clear, he don't even take care of his own kids. He's a deadbeat. Let me give you one other example. Then we're gonna close this out. I got to put the babies on here. It's a doggone shame, just scamming. We're gonna go to the 4 minute and 9 second mark. Listen to what Umar say.
Make a donation. So how much of that 900,000? How much of that 900,000 do we have right now? Well, at last count, we had about 320,000.
Wait a minute. What in the world?
Need you. Our babies need you to go to GoFundMe.com/Dr. Umar, DRUMAR, and make a donation. So how much of that 900,000? How much of that 900,000 do we have right now?
Maybe he's saying he's trying to raise 900,000. This is in 2015, June 26th of 2015.
Well, at last count, we had about 320,000. If you go to GoFundMe, we got about 85, 88, almost 90,000 raised on GoFundMe. But there's another 200,000+ in the bank from all those checks and money orders y'all been mailing in.
Oh shit.
So we got 1/3 of the money, Atlanta. 1/3. We 1/3 there.
1/3 of what? Let's add this up. Let me rewind this, people. I have it in my notes, but I don't think I put the pieces together. Hold on one second.
Need you. Our babies need you to go to GoFundMe.com/Dr. Umar, DRUMAR, and make a donation. So how much of that 900,000? How much of that 900,000 do we have right now? Well, at last count, we had about 320,000.
Okay, he's saying that he has three. That's what he's saying here. I think what he's saying is that he's trying to raise 900,000, but that he has raised $320,000 in 2015. So this would be in 1 year. In 1 year, from the time he started raising money for the St. Paul's College to June 26th of 2015, in 1 year, he raised $320,000. Okay, and then people, you can just take that 1 year and project it over time, multiply it by 11, and you're over $3 million. Okay. Matter of fact, I'm gonna crunch the numbers real quick. If in 1 year Umar raised $320,000, we're going to multiply that by 11 years, and we're at $3.5 million. Damn. Yeah, I forgot about this, but that's what he's saying here. What's up, Ruben Rivera? What he's saying is that he had raised $320,000 by 2015, which is 1 year. In 1 year, he raised $320,000. Okay, let's see what else he says.
If you go to GoFundMe, we got about 85, 88, almost 90,000 raised on GoFundMe.
Okay, we'll just say 90,000.
But there's another 200,000+ in the bank from all those checks and money orders y'all been mailing.
So that's 290,000.
So we got 1/3 of the money, Atlanta. 1/3.
Yeah, I think he's saying 1/3 of $900,000, but the math don't even math. It's not mathing. This is a mess, y'all. I totally forgot about this shit right here. But I got it. I have the receipt. This will be in a documentary, because what I'll do is year by year and month by month, whenever Umar gives an update, I'm going to outline it in the documentary. And then you guys will see very clearly how crazy this gets. It gets crazy real quick, because it goes to show you not only has he raised way more than $1 million. Again, we proved today, what was it? $2.3 million, $2,337,954 by 2025, or the last 11 years. But it also shows you that the numbers don't match up, because he'll say in 1 year that he raised $700,000, and then 3 years later he'll say he raised $750,000. Okay, the math isn't mathing. He's a con man. Okay, I don't know what else I got to tell people, because I can pull up more. You know, I know we're supposed to be done. I said 2 hours. We're at 2 hours right now, but I can pull up more if y'all want me to. Let me look up. See, he's saying 200. What did he's saying 200,000? What did he say? He's saying 303,000. No, he's saying, what did he say? 320,000 in a year, but I also have him saying 500,000 in a year. See, the video that we just watched, Umar, he's saying that he raised 320,000 in a year. Now watch this. And I've already played it, but I'm gonna play it again. Shit, why not? This is 2015, same year. This is the same year. This is the end of the year. And we're going to go to the 1 hour, 26 minute and 30-second mark. Yeah, Umar, you boy, you wish you wouldn't have. Anyway, that's your fault. Blame everybody else if you want to. Okay, so what I just showed was a video from June of 2015. Wow, this is a decade ago. Where Umar is saying that he basically saying that he's raised $320,000 in 1 year. But then I have another video from December of 2015 where he says that he's raised $500,000, which would mean that over the course of 6 months, Umar would have raised about another $180,000. Listen.
1831, 1832. Your son will relive that trail, relive that experience. It's very important. Some of the homes where the war took place still stand. Make a donation to GoFundMe.com. Please make that donation. Make that donation, brothers and sisters. Get us that school. $500,000 in a year. I'm thankful. I'm humbled.
Damn. We can go on for months with this because I have all the receipts. I don't mean, and I want to, let me take a second. And I'll get the super chats. I apologize for not keeping up with it. Let me take a second to apologize because I do not want to come off as being arrogant, but I do know my shit. See? Only reason why I come at it this way is because I'm a firm believer that if you have done your due diligence, you've done your research, you have the receipts to back up anything that you say, and that you can pull it up at any given time, like we've been doing during this live stream. We can do this for hours, literally. And then people who have not researched, who have not done the research, who have not done their due diligence, who have not done their own independent research, they want to challenge the receipts that I have and the statements that I make based upon the receipts and the facts and the stats. That's why I had to come at it like that today. But I don't want people to think that somehow I'm trying to be arrogant. I just got to prove a point. And the point is, you can't fuck with me when it comes to this. See, and I'm more than fair with Umar. I always have been. I've given him the benefit of the doubt. I've been very lenient. There's so much more. I mean, we can literally do this for the next 6 hours, and we can go year by year and pull up, and we'll see discrepancies over time where the numbers don't even match up what he said before, based on, because just on this, what he's saying right here, in 1 year, he's saying that he raised $1 million, but then in the other video, he said he had raised $220,000, and there is a roughly 6 month difference between the two videos. So Umar would have had to have raised $180,000 in 6 months in 2015, and prior to that, $320,000 in 6 months in 2015. Math ain't mathing, is it? But that's because from the beginning, Umar's been scamming black people from the beginning. And it's still about the money to this day. The most amount of money that Umar has ever gotten in his life has come from this school scam. And this Umar, he's let's be clear, and then we're gonna wrap this up. Let's be clear. Umar has raised at a bare minimum $2,337,954 since 2014, the spring of 2014 to the summer of 2025. And he ain't got shit to show for it. Because that money has gone towards him. Like I said, we can add up everything that he spent money on over the years. And you guys know, HVAC saga, blueprint saga. We can't throw the block party in there because that ain't got nothing to do with educating black boys. But that's just more money wasted. We can throw in taxes that he had to pay because he didn't have tax exempt status in 2019 or 2020 for that matter. He got it in 2020, but it's not retroactive. So all those other months, he's still on the hook. You donors were on the hook for that. That's about $116,000, $120,000 worth of taxes that are accrued that should not have accrued if he had had his paperwork in order. That's the money that y'all are sending to him for absolutely nothing. Even him acquiring these trap bundles in Wilmington, Delaware for about let's say $425,000, give him the benefit of the doubt. It's a waste of money because not one black child has been educated. And all the fees associated with having it on the vacant property list and paying electric bill once he got electricity on and water bill for what? It's all a waste of money. But you put all of the wasted money that Umar has spent associated with these trap bundles, it's not going to be $1 million. But let's say that it is. There's at least $1.3 million that's missing today in 2025 as a bare minimum. I would like someone to prove me wrong, not to be arrogant, but I want someone to prove me wrong. Yes. Okay. I would like someone to prove me wrong, and I would like it to be Umar Johnson. And all you got to do, Umar, with your scamming ass, is open up the books. But you see, that's the crux of it, because the money is really the scam. It's not the school, it's the money. And Umar knows that if he opens up the books, and showed how much money he has received since 2014 and before that with other FDMG related scams that he was running, including the shockumentary that was supposed to premiere in 2014. If he opens up the book with all these different FDMG, well, let's just stick with FDMG, these trap banners in Wilmington, Delaware. People would realize very quickly that this guy has raised well over $2.7 million. He knows that. And if the books were ever opened because of for some legal means, for some legal reasons, as it were, it will all be public record. And people will see very quickly, this guy, he's tricked off so much money. He's tricked off more money than he has spent on FDMG. Now that's crazy. Umar, prove me wrong. You ain't gonna do it. Because you can't. And none of y'all can't either. Any one of y'all try to make excuses for this guy. See, I would like for those brothers that Umar was lying to see this video and watch the whole thing. And then go and do your own research. Go step by step like I did here. You can start again with the Mike Nice interview. You can start with the Roland Martin interview. You could even start when Umar is saying that he raised $500,000 in a year going back to 2015. And then take it from there to current. And for the years where he doesn't report to the IRS that he's collected money, just take the standard $125,000 a year that Umar says he raises on average, and then look at the IRS filings, add them all up together, and it should be a clear timeline from 2014 to 2025, and you're going to be way over $1 million. In point of fact, I can prove $2,337,954. All right. Let me get to these super chats, and then we'll wind down this show. Thank you all so much for tuning on in. We're supposed to be doing something totally different, but it is what it is. I'm going to change the title for sure. Louis Suck says, do you have any info on Sharon and if she's still involved with Umar today and if he actually bought a building in Philly for her or rented it? Okay. So if people don't know, Sharon is one of the individuals, one of Umar's early day ones that was really rocking with Umar. In fact, excuse me, once people found out that was like his main sort of side piece, because it's not like there's any commitment going on or anything like that. Once they found out that she was his main side piece, that's when Umar started talking about black skin supremacy and white skin supremacy, because he was trying to cover himself because Sharon was what he would call mixed race. Okay, she's half white. Don't make me no difference. I really don't give a shit. But Umar, once that comes out and people they start talking about it, that's when he's really started to change his rhetoric, because he wanted, it's more like a protective measure that, hey, listen, you know, I've always been down with, you know, it's not that I'm against mixed race, and you know, that type of thing, right? But that's been the main person that he would support, and she would support him. She helped him to write the book. She helped him to design the books. As from what I understand, from what I remember, she's a graphic designer, into art and that type of stuff. Okay. Is she still involved with Umar today? I think on the periphery. Back then, she was much more active, but she was just more behind the scenes. A person that was more on the front side was Big Ann McMillan. She's not around anymore. Another one was Tiff DeGriff. Umar never liked her, but she's not around either. But his main school, and then of course Sister Hanera, she's over in Africa. There's people who speculate that she's running scams over there with the money and funneling money over there. I don't know. I ain't looked into all that, so I'm not going to get into all that. Right? Sharon is. I haven't seen Sharon around. I think she's still on the periphery. I just don't think that she's as involved as with this scam as she used to be. Understand that part of the issue too, I think, with Umar is that Umar, he's not getting the type of money that he received like he did in the past. So there's a lot of people that's just not hanging around him like they used to. When that money was really coming in, there was a lot of people hanging around Umar because they knew Umar had money. You know, black, not to be like that. But you know how some black people, I ain't gonna say all, but some black people are. The person who got all that money, everyone wanted to hang around with you. Well, Umar and Umar would dish out money for this or that. I get it. But at a certain point, that money starts to die down. Umar recognizes that he has to take care of himself in the first place. He ain't worried about paying child support, taking care of no kids. He ain't worried about opening up no school. It's about his own personal survival. So I'm going to speculate here that Umar start cutting money off at a certain point because the money wasn't coming in. He had to take care of himself. See, the money ain't going towards opening up a fucking school. That's Umar. See? That's why, like I said before, not to go off on this again, but for most of the years that Umar has collected money, it's all personal income because he did not have tax-exempt status. And when he had tax-exempt status the first time, roughly in 2015, he wasn't reporting to the IRS how much money he was making and receiving. So therefore, it's considered to be personal income. And then it gets revoked, the nonprofit status, in 2017. He's still raising money. It's all personal income. It's not until 2020, at least further along into 2020, and he finally gets tax exempt status, and he's been maintaining it ever since. So the money that he has raised since because it's not retroactive, from 2021 to 2025, that's all under the nonprofit. All the rest of that money, Umar could legally, he can do whatever the fuck he wants to with the money. You know, is it right? No, I'm just talking about based upon the fact that it's personal income. He can do whatever he wants to with the money. And that's precisely what he was doing. See, now, is it illegal to do that, to set up a nonprofit, collect money under the nonprofit, and then not report the money that you're receiving through that nonprofit? Yeah. That's like I'll be telling people that if he's going to get caught up on something, that's going to be what he gets caught up on. And that's what he's going to be in jail for, or prison. And then people are going to be saying, no, it's some great conspiracy. No, he's a con man. When that money gets funny, people start backing away from Umar. And it's really funny today. I think Sharon is still around on the periphery, lingering. Okay. But in terms of involved with Umar consistently like she used to be, I don't think so. I think she probably still helps him with graphic stuff, you know, memes and that type of shit. But other than that, I don't think so. Now, there was also this thing that was circulating years ago. Some of you guys remember this, that he bought a building in Philadelphia. It was an art studio for Sharon, or that he rented it. Based upon my research and research from other people that I trust, I could not find any receipt that would prove that to be the case. Is it possible? Yes, but I go with the receipts. I give Umar the benefit of the doubt. I can't say as a statement of fact, based upon the research that I've done and the research for other people that I've known to be really good researchers in this Umar Johnson saga. I can't say as a statement of fact that he bought her art studio or rented one out in Philadelphia. I remember when all that was going on. Okay, but I go with the receipts and what I know to be true. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Louis, for super. That actually brings back memory because that was a long time ago. Let me get caught up in these super chats real quick. I apologize, everybody. Yeah, I did this one earlier, Black Wolf. See, and even what I did here with breaking all of this down, it's going to mess with Umar's money. But see, that's what he gets. Umar, the onus is on you. The ball's in your court, as it were. Prove me wrong. Open up the books. You ain't gonna do it. SH Play says the receipts are what drives Umar crazy. Yeah, I agree. It is. And it's the documentation too, like the IRS filings, that stuff. but also the videos where I show Umar saying certain things. Now, SH Play, when I show Umar saying something, I'm not doctoring anything. I'm not making anything up. I just play it for people, and I always give Umar the benefit of the doubt too. See, because when Umar says, you know, of that 900,000, there are people who would have been like, well, you know what? Maybe he already had 900,000 at that time. Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. I think it's improbable. See, what I said was maybe that's how much he's trying to raise somehow is $900,000, but that's not even consistent with what he said initially, because initially he said he wanted $1 million, then he said $2 million, then he said $4 million, and then he said $5 million. But I give Umar the benefit of the doubt. The point is that I play and show receipts, and I've done enough research to where I can pull it up in my notes and say, okay, yeah, I remember he said this or that, and I can pull it up, or I type in a keyword, I can pull it up. We can go year by year, month by month, with Umar giving updates on money that's received. He doesn't do it. He hasn't done it since 2020, but back in the day, he did it more consistently, and we can put together a full timeline. In fact, what I plan to do in the document, it's going to be a lot of work, is to go year by year, month by month. There'll be months where he doesn't say anything about how much money he raised. Again, by the time we get to 2020, he gives an update of $850,000. He hasn't updated anyone since, and he's still saying that he hasn't collected $1 million, but it's impossible, because if you had $850,000 in 2020, you got 5 more years of collecting donations. All we got to do is just add his IRS filings for 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. 2024 hasn't come out yet. It'll be coming out soon. But you add those years to it, to the $850,000, and he's way over $1 million right there. See what I'm saying? But what I want to do is, in the documentary, and I will be doing, is I'll take all of the times that Umar has over the years, over the last 11 years, he's mentioned, at least that I have on record, that I have, he's mentioned how much money he's raised, and then turn it into a chart. Uh-oh, here we go. I love that shit. So 2014, it'll say 2014, you know, at the middle of 2000, or the end of 2014, Umar stated such and such. And then the chart, the graph, it'll go up to, okay, he said he's raised, I'm just throwing out a figure here, he's raised $300,000. Okay. And then the next year, in 2015, the beginning of the year, he says that he has $350,000. So you see it'll be a little bit higher. And then by the middle of 2015, he's saying that he's raised $1 million. Okay, which is consistent, because he said that he had raised $1 million. No, I'm sorry, that he raised $500,000. He actually said that in a year he raised $500,000. So once we get to that 2015, the spring of 2015, now we get to $500,000. And so the chart, the graph, it'll just keep going up, it'll keep going up, but then you start to see fluctuations. Say, wait a minute, why did it go down here? I can't wait. That's gonna drive Umar crazy. Yeah, he already crazy anyway, you know that. But again, this is all based on what Umar has said. Okay. And then, of course, I'll have the IRS filings in there too. Right. Okay. Thanks, SH Play, for the super chat. You know, what's interesting is I didn't even think about the cash that Umar had sitting. See, because we can throw that in there too. I didn't even think about it. See, now one could argue that we shouldn't include that if that cash is part of what he had raised prior to that year, because maybe it should go into when he said in 2017 that he had raised $700,000. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to, when I actually put all this and compile this, I'm going to give Umar Johnson the benefit of the doubt right there. I'll take that $500,000 out. See, I'm always trying to be fair, right? But it's going to drive Umar crazy. It's going to drive him crazy. He already crazy. Thanks, SH Play. I appreciate it. Black Wolf says, Umar stopped saying your name because of people coming over and seeing the truth about his fraud ass. You noticed it? Yeah, I noticed that a long time ago. See, when he was big and bad, he would say my name. He would call me gay. He called me a booty bandit and all this other stuff. On the Lord Jamar show, he was claiming that I mess with children. See, it's easy to say stuff like that to another man when you over the internet, but Umar would never say some shit like that to my face. And listen, I'm not all like that. I'll just be real about it. But there is a limit to shit. See, and I know he's marshmallow. Okay, he's bitch made, real talk. Okay, and again, like I said, I ain't all with all like that. But if anything ever had to go down where I had to protect my family, protect myself, I will get down. Okay, not to be like that, not to put that out there. I will get down. All right. But see, Umar, he will say those types of things and he'll mention my name back then. But see, what has happened is because he was saying those types of things, doxing my personal information, telling his pull-up team to come get me and do all this and threatening me and all this type of shit. That's when I said, okay, well, let's buckle down on this because that's the type of man I am. Okay. I'm not going to get punked by anybody. I don't care who it is. See, if he kept his mouth shut, I've been done a long time ago. You try to punk me. I'm not the one to get punked. I've never been like that. I said, okay, let's buckle down and we're going to go harder. And that's precisely what I've done. But see, because it's called just telling the truth about Umar, doing the analysis, providing the receipts, breaking down the numbers, it's fucked him up bad. See? But whose fault is that? It's not my fault. It's not the Cookie Chat's fault. That's Umar's fault. Just like his daddy should have kept his fucking mouth closed, Umar should have kept his fucking mouth closed. But he kept doing it. He kept doing it. And see, nowadays he won't even say my name. He'll say something like YouTube and struggle streamer who's saying that I've raised millions of dollars, but we know who he's talking about. But he's bitch made. He ain't gonna say my name because he knows that if he says my name, people are gonna come up over. There's people in the chat room right now. That's the reason why they first started coming up over here because Umar was talking all that. They said, "Who's this guy? Who's this guy? He said he's just gay and all this stuff. He's a booty bandit. Let me go look up this. Let me go look this guy up." And then they come over here. Listen, I'm fair. I'm fair. Listen, I don't have any animosity towards Umar. It's just consequences. That's the way I look at it. It's just consequences. You get online, Umar. You do what you do. You run your fucking mouth, there's going to be consequences, right? That's all it is. It's nothing personal or anything like that. There was a time I was mad at him. I didn't appreciate that, doxing my personal information because it put my family's life in jeopardy. I didn't appreciate that. But all is forgiven. It's nothing personal. It's business. That's why I bring out the stats and the figures. It's business. See? But Umar, I guarantee you that if he can go back in time and not do what he did and said what he said, he wouldn't have done it because he would have been sitting a lot better financially right now. He probably wouldn't be living inside of mama closet, looking all well. He'd probably still be smoked out and shit. See, the thing, though, real quick, Black Wolf, is that and I'm not gonna say this like somehow it's to Umar's benefit, but I'll dare say that by me criticizing Umar and being consistent with my criticism and being fair too, because there's people that's lied on Umar. There's people that all saying all kind of stuff about Umar that wasn't true. I'm not down with that. I'm not down with that. It's wrong. Okay. But I have a sense that if I didn't consistently do Umar Johnson videos, that he would have gotten even more money and he would have been in a much difficult situation because he would have had more money to destroy himself. You guys understand what I'm saying? To turn the heat down, to gamble, to live a sexually promiscuous lifestyle and deal with strippers and sex workers. And turn the heat down and sniffing and blinking and shit and playing with his nose, it would have been a lot worse because he would have had access to more money. So, Umar, you better be thankful on different levels, homeboy. Real talk. But he don't say my name these days. Okay. I wish you would, though, because it'll bring more people over there. Yeah, they will come over here, talk shit, but there's always a conversion rate. See? There's going to be a group of the people that come over and they're going to be like, wait a minute, this guy, he has receipts. He doesn't seem like he's lying. Oh, wait a minute. Let me look into this myself. And there you go. They get on that path. They start doing their own research, and then they'll realize I ain't lied on this guy not one time. It's unnecessary. Okay? Thanks, Black Wolf. And you've been around a long time, so you know what the deal is. Umar, he's so goofy. User 225 says, do the podcast know Umar Johnson is shady? What they think? I think they have a sense of it, but they have them on just like anyone else because it gets views. But I would implore them to watch this video. Just watch the whole thing. Check it out. Again, I'll end up doing when I get into the documentary. It'd be real. It'd be a short segment, well, maybe not necessarily a short segment. I shouldn't say it that way. It'd be concise with the information. It won't be much of fluff. Like I'll be running my mouth. It won't be like that. It'd just be point by point, date by date, figure by figure, stat by stat, how much money he's raised over the last 11 years, et cetera, and then we get to figures with $2.3 million, and then contradictions that he's made where the figures don't even make sense what he's saying year to year or 6 months down before to now. They don't even calculate right, but that's because he's a con man. See, and I'll break it down step by step by step, and it'd be more digestible to people. Okay, but I would hope that these podcasters and other ones, they just watch the segment. See, maybe what I should do is take this video, put it into Premiere Pro, and just edit out all of the fluff and just do the figures, the financial figures, and break it down into a 7-minute video. I could do it too, or 10 minutes, and just upload that to YouTube. Okay, and then let people, they can just watch it themselves. See? Anyway, either way, it's going to be in a documentary. Okay, and Umar, I'm telling you, he's shook right now watching this. Yep. Thanks, user 225. DD Vanna, how's it going? Says, hey y'all, sorry I'm late. I was selling water ices. Okay. Also, the new job is going great. That's good, great to hear. Congratulations, DD Vanna. Okay, we're so happy for you. I remember you announced that you gotten into IT, so congratulations on that. It's wonderful to hear, and keep going. Okay, keep going. Anyone else, like you make an accomplishment, you graduate, or you get a certification, or you get a new job, or you get married, whatever. We have people say all kinds of stuff, and we always celebrate here inside the Cookie Press chat. So we want to celebrate your success. That's one thing that we always do. We celebrate success. And thank you, Titi Vetta, for the super chat. And keep going. All right. All right. Let's go. Black Wolf sent a gift of a membership. Thank you so much, Black Wolf. Let's thank everyone for that. Very kind of you. And Carl became a new member. Got hundreds of videos for members that aren't accessible to everyone. Including a whole bunch of Umar Johnson videos. Okay, a whole bunch of them. Thank you so much, Carl Butler, for becoming a member. Mr. Hilton says, not sure if you brought this up yet. How could he both not have collected even 1 million, but yet was able to put in a bid for 2 million for St. Paul's? Right. I pulled up the receipt yesterday in point of fact. Remember, the minimum bid for St. Paul's, just to start, to get in the game, was 2.5 million, I believe. Okay, I'm going to make sure. Let's go to 2014, and I'll pull up 2 receipts. Actually, I'll pull up 3 receipts. Why not? And we'll do this one. We'll do this one. We'll do this one, and then we'll do Umar, where clearly he's lying. Okay, but that's what he does, especially when it comes to the money. So here is the first receipt. Auction, college campus, 135 plus or minus acres, 31 buildings, I think it says there. This is the St. Paul's auction banner, if you will. Here's a flyer for it. Hold on one second. Let me get this down here. I'll bring you back up in just a moment, Mr. Hilton. Historic St. Paul's College, founded in 1888. Okay, entire 137 plus acre academic campus. Umar also said that there was farmland too. He wanted all of it, which would have been closer to 500 acres, and he wanted to turn it into a colt compound. We've talked about that in the past. But this is a very specific type of auction. It's a sealed bid auction. It was supposed to be Wednesday, April 9th at 3 p.m. And Motley's was the company that was in charge of this. Sperry Van Nuys Motley. And there's the number for Motley there. But a sealed bid, the way that it works is people put in a bid. It's sealed. No one knows how much anyone else has put in, and whoever has the highest bid at the end of the auction wins. This makes sense. Okay. However, you can't just put in whatever you want. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to put in as a starting bid for the sealed bid auction, I'm going to put $10,000. It doesn't work like that. There's a minimum that you have to put in order to get into the game. Okay. So what's that minimum? Well, let's take a look. Sealed bid auction, historic St. Paul's College, Lawrenceville, Virginia. There's the address there too. And if you look at the sale overview, the starting bid is $2,500,000 just to start. Okay, that doesn't mean that if your starting bid is $2,500,000 that you're going to win. It's a sealed bid because someone else could put in $2,500,001 and they would win this sealed bid. The other thing is that it doesn't mean that the auction company accepts that as the final bid either. Okay, they can just keep going. They can, because that's what, in fact, what they did. The auction, which was supposed to take place April 9th, they had it, but they didn't get a bid that they were willing to accept. Okay, so obviously it would have had to have been everyone whoever bid, they had to have bid at least $2.5 million. What it means is that they weren't going to accept $2.5 million because there were people who actually put in starting bids. Right. So in other words, in order to just get into the game, you got to have $2,500,000. We'll just say $2.5 million. Okay, well, Umar posted this on June 25th, 2014. He said, breaking news. It appears that we may have won the bid. Keep donating. Details on Wednesday in Chicago on 1690 a.m., 3 to 6 p.m. Okay. He's saying that we may have won the bid. First of all, there's no way that he could know that because it's a sealed bid. He's a liar. But second of all, in order for him to have a chance of winning the bid, he would have had to put down $2.5 million, which would mean that Umar, if he put in the bid like he said, he would have had to have bare minimum $2.5 million and would have had to have raised $2.5 million in less than 2 months. He's a con man. Did Umar raise $2.5 million? No. In 2 months? No. I mean, it could be argued he hasn't raised $2.5 million in 11 years. It could be argued. Well, like I said, I've already proved it today that Umar has raised bare minimum $2.3 million. And it's highly likely that he's raised at least 2.6, 2.7. Okay. So what the point is that it shows two things. It shows that Umar is a liar because he didn't have $2.5 million. So why does he lie to the people and say that breaking news, we may have won the bid? First of all, he wouldn't know that because it's a sealed bid. He doesn't know what anyone else is putting in. But in order for him to get into the game, he would have to have at least $2.5 million. Okay, it shows that he's a liar in the first place. So why does he do that? Well, he said that because he wants people to what? Keep donating. And he's been doing this shit now for over a decade. It's the same thing a decade later. He's been doing the same thing for a decade. I think we found a school here. I think we found a school here. This school in Mount Vernon. We think we almost got Baltimore. This school in Baltimore. We already got 1 million. We need another million. What? No, he's not trying to do nothing. He just wants people to keep donating. That's all. Oh, we got an HVAC unit that's coming. I got the blueprints. We got the keys. Remember that? Now that goes way back. Remember the keys? He's been doing this now for a decade. So on one hand, it shows that Umar Johnson is a liar. However, on the second hand, that if you believe this liar, and some of you guys do, you Umar Johnson, okay, you believe this liar, your prerogative. If you believe that he put in a bid, then understand that you must also concede to this delusional fact. Okay, paradox, delusional fact that Umar had raised $2.5 million in a matter of months to put in a starting bid. Okay, are you willing to do that too? Well, if you're willing to accept that he put in this bid and you want to accept the lie from this liar, then you also have to accept that he had raised $2.5 million at that time. And if that's the case, why in the fuck is he saying in 2025 that he hasn't even raised $1 million? Got him. He's a bad boy. You are a bad boy. No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be like that. I'm just saying, anyway, I'll go ahead to humble myself tonight. Okay, I apologize. Thanks, Mr. Hilton. We talked about this yesterday. It's a good point. Very good point. Michael became a new member. Thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate it. Black Wolf again gifted another member. Thank you so much. Appreciate it as well. Okay, I did this one earlier, Shannon. To talk about Sharon. Thank you, Louis Luck. Smitty Boy says, talk heavy, Uncle Lennon. You got receipts, numbers, and research on Umar's BS to a science to the point as if it was chemistry. The jig is up for Umar. You've been busted. Linear research is pure grit. Thank you so much. And it's been a long time, too. I've said this, too, that there's been times where I've been incorrect. Now, I've never lied on Umar. I've always been fair. But yeah, as a researcher, there's times where the research only went back so far. So I believe that was let me give you an example. There was a time where I thought that this school scam started in 2014. See, there are people who think that this all started in 2019 with him acquiring these abandoned buildings in Wilmington, Delaware, because that's when they learned about Umar, and they thought it was something that was fresh and new. No, See, I thought that it was in 2014. I remember it to this day. Someone has sent me a message on Facebook. I don't even remember who the person was. I don't even really use Facebook these days. But someone sent me a message on Facebook and said, "What do you think about this?" And it's the guy pops up as Umar. I had heard about Umar because of Hidden Colors. I hadn't watched Hidden Colors, but I had heard about him, and I actually did a video to talk about narcissistic personality traits, because I was studying narcissistic personality traits back in the day. And I noticed that Umar, he had some of those characteristics. It wasn't as refined in my understanding today, but back then, at least I started to think about it. And I did a video to talk about narcissistic personality traits, and I just used Umar and how he is as an example. Didn't know much about the FDMG school scam or any of that stuff. That was the point is that by the time we get to 2014, someone sent me a message about Umar trying to raise money to open up a school. And guess what video it was? A video from the St. Paul school scam. Remember, he's out there. I can pull it up and play for y'all, but he's out there walking around and saying all these things that he wants to do, and he wants to turn it into a boarding school and all this stuff. Okay, remember he had on the jeans, that video, and he's actually on the campus, St. Paul's campus. And I looked at it, and because the person was asking, "What do you think about this?" And I looked at that video, and a couple of things occurred to me. First, that Umar didn't have a team; it was just him. Furthermore, he didn't have a plan. You know, it's like, okay, I'm going to collect money to do all these things. Okay, but implementation, how do you get from point A to point B to point C to all the way to point Z? And it didn't make sense. It's like, okay, well, does he have a board of directors? And it became very clear to me early on that no, this is a con, because you don't start asking people for millions of dollars without some sort of a plan in place. See, this is before I knew about him not even having tax exempt status. This is before I knew about how much money he was even planning on raising, because I don't even think he said how much. No, maybe he did say how much money he wanted to raise in that video. I can't even remember. I don't think he mentioned how much money he wanted to raise. I don't even think he did. He may have. The point is that my research only went back so far. So I replied back to the person. I was like, no, I wouldn't send any money to this, because he doesn't have a plan. Obviously, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's a one-man show. There's no organization associated with this. There's no nonprofit associated with this. None of that stuff. Okay. So in my mind, I thought that's when this all starts, in 2014. So as I researched Umar more and more over the years, I really started doing consistent videos on Umar about 2019. And as I've done more and more research over the years, I started realizing that, wait, this goes back way before that, way before 2014. And then I remember I found that receipt from 2010. I've shown this, I don't know, it could be thousands of times by now. But I remember I saw this receipt and I was like, oh, okay, now I see what's going on. I see how far this goes back. And again, I was telling people 2014, because the research wasn't there. It wasn't that I was lying on Umar. It was just that I hadn't done enough research. But at a certain point, I come across, let's see, this should be it right here. I come across this right here. This is from 2010, January 6th of 2010, on Umar Johnson's original Facebook page. Promises in 2010 to begin laying groundwork for the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Pan African School for Black Boys, specializing in learning disabilities and disruptive behavior disorders. This will be a private school, and yes, you will pay in order for your son to attend. Grand opening September 11, 2013. This is Chestnut Checkers. And for many years, that's why I said, no, this starts in 2010. Okay, but I was incorrect. See? I knew that I found out that Umar had other FDMG related scams that he was running. FDMG aftercare program, FDMG Boy Scouts. He called it something like the Umar Johnson Boy Scouts Academy or some stupid shit like that. Can you imagine Umar in the wilderness? But he was raising money for that shit and trying to get people to have their boys participate in all that. He's a con man. It doesn't start with FDMG, and it doesn't start in 2010. It's way before that. And then I remember, and I can pull up the receipt where Umar tells the story of when he conceptualized FDMG. He says in 2004. And then he says in 2005, that's when he started beginning the process of building FDMG in 2005. So listen, it's not that I was lying on Umar in 2000 when I said that this started, when I thought that it started in 2014. or when I thought that it started in 2000. It's just the research wasn't there. Okay. Then what I realized is that it doesn't even start with this idea of FDMG. What it is that Umar, he was trying to scam the UNIA back in 2004, 2005, which coincides with when he conceptualized FDMG. And it was for a building fund. You see how the research gets deeper and deeper? It could be argued that Umar has been scamming with a building fund type of scam, school scam type of shit. It could be argued since 2003. It could be 2002. Shit. I mean, it could be after he graduated, when he finally gets into the UNIA the first time, which is about 7 years. Memory serves me correctly, from 2005, which would put this at 1997, 1998. It could be argued. 1999. It could be argued. Okay. I don't know that to be a fact. I'm just saying that Umar could have already been thinking about scamming the UNIA way back then, because he's a scam artist. He's a con man. Okay, so the point that I'm making, I know I'm going all around, but the point that I'm making is that at the end of the day, the receipts don't lie. And I've done so much research over the years, independent research, and I have all of the receipts, or at least most of the receipts that have ever appeared online. I don't have all of them because a lot of stuff ain't on anymore, but most of the stuff that's ever appeared online, screenshots and all this other stuff, radio interviews, podcast interviews, Umar doing lectures, so forth and so on. I've taken copious amounts of notes. The document that I have over here is 43,355 words. It's a 225-page document. And I wouldn't even say that I'm halfway through all of the notes that I need to take. See, so you put it all together. The research, it's there, and people can't challenge me unless you've done more research. And that's why I tell people to, because if people have information that I don't have, please share it with me. Send it to me. Send it to my email address. Like I said, if you have information about where Umar's taught at, because he's never been a teacher. Let me take that back. I apologize. If anyone has information of where Umar was a school psychologist outside of the Compare Charter School, where he was a school principal, a school vice principal, please share it with me. Okay. And I need receipts. I need documentation. I've not been able to find any of that online, which is crazy. See, now I'm not saying that Umar he was never a school principal. I actually think that he was. So I think it was for a very short period of time. Well, I would like to know how short of a period of time. I'd like to include that in documentary to fill out more of the timeline. Okay. At the end of the day, the research is there. It continues to expand itself. And I'm fair with Umar. Always been fair with Umar. I've always given him the benefit of the doubt too. Okay, but I know what I know, and I would hope that other people would take the time to do their due diligence too, and take whatever I present here, and you can research it yourself, and you'll find that it's accurate. Okay, no need to lie on the guy. Not necessary. Yeah, he's busted. Real talk. Thanks, Smitty Boy, for the super chat. Real quick, Matt said Umar's might be lying about how much money he raised in the early years, hoping it would make more people give money. It's possible. It's possible. What I will say is that even if we just simply look at the IRS filings, because that's something that is undebatable, we can only say, and I would propose, Matt, that with the IRS filings, it is highly likely and probable that Umar is reporting much less to the IRS than how much he's actually earned, because that's how Umar is. See, but if we take just the IRS filings from 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023, which equals $620,000. This is on the back end of all of this. This is after Umar. There's a lot of people, they ain't sending him money anymore. He's not getting the type of money he was getting way back in the day. So what I'm getting at is that for the filings for 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023, which comprises just 4 years, Umar, he's raised $620,945 that he's reporting to the IRS. I'm sure he's raised a lot more than that. That's just what he's reporting. So if in 4 years on the back end of this, wherein people aren't as supportive as they was on the front end, if he's raised $620,945, well, how much money has he raised the 6 years prior, or 5 years? It really is 5.5 years prior. Okay, you can at least double that. Bare minimum. That's over $1 million. So what is that? 1.4 million. No, 1.34 million. That makes sense. See? So what I'm getting at is that if we go based upon what Umar says, then $2.3 million. But if we go based upon just the last 4 years of IRS tax filings, and this is on the back end of a scam that's been going on for 11 years, and we're only counting 4 years, and it's $620,000. No, it's more than likely that he was raising way more than that in his heyday. I'm talking $400,000 a year. Remember, he said $500,000. See, I'm to $350,000 a year. See, but that's why Umar doesn't want these books to be open. And if he would, if the IRS ever pursued, brought a charge against him for money laundering or fraud or wire fraud, they would everything would have to in discovery, the books would be open. Okay, they wouldn't be able to get how much cash he's received, that he's gotten. But in terms of checks and money orders, Cash Apps, PayPal, GoFundMe, Plum Fund, etc., that would all, at a certain point, that'd become public record, and then everything would crumble. Okay, again, I would think $2.7 million bare minimum. Okay, thanks, Matt, for super chat. No Contendo says 572,000 savings, but he's asking for HVAC money. Yeah, that's another way we can look at this too. See, we again, when I crunch these numbers for the documentary, I'm going to look at that $572,000 as being part of money that had been raised, where he's throwing out figures like $700,000. See, but that doesn't even make sense. It doesn't. It really doesn't. See, the thing is that in 2020, this would be after he has acquired these abandoned buildings, right? So if the purchase price for these abandoned buildings is $400,000, he said a little more than that. Okay, $425,000. Then we throw in the cash that he had on hand afterwards. Okay, that's $1 million. That would be in 2019 or 2020. Umar's at $1 million. He said he wanted another $1 million in 2015. But we can say for sure 2020 he would have to have had $1 million. But why is he saying in 2025 that he hasn't even raised $1 million? 5 years later, he's a con man. See. But when I get to that, when I break all this down, the $572,000 that he has sitting in a non-interest bearing account, I'm going to give Umar the benefit of the doubt and put that towards the amount of money that because really he should have been sitting on about $850,000. I'm going to throw that at $572,000 into that $850,000. See, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, but see, if like you're saying, it's a very good point too. Why is Umar asking for donation money for an HVAC or for blueprints or whatever when he had $572,000 just sitting there? Was that what it was, or was it 50? I thought it was 50. It can't be that. No, that's what it was. It's a damn shame. He's a con man. Yeah. Again, 2019, he gets evicted. Why are you getting evicted if you're sitting on 570? Well, that's money. Well, no. You didn't have any money. Remember that money, like I said, not to rehash. But besides the money that Umar reported to the IRS in 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023, all the rest of the money, about 7 years worth of it, is personal income. And he was using it as such. Listen, he's on the hook for personal taxes on all that money, because it's personal money. It's personal income. So he did with it what he wanted to do with it. Right. Thanks, No Contendo, for the super chat. User 225 says, why don't the podcasters ever ask Umar Johnson the obvious questions? How much have you raised? Yeah, it is baffling to me. I don't get it. They should ask them, how much have you raised and how much have you spent? That should be one of the primary questions that they ask. But they never do, right? Yeah. Are they all blind? Do they not think he's a shyster? Are they complicit? I think that some of them know. I know DJ Envy and Charlamagne Tha God know that Umar is a con man. They know that. They're intelligent enough to know that. I mean, they can just review him being on the show and the shit he was saying and realize very quickly that he's lying. I can't remember what year, but I think it was 2020 where he was on there talking about, yeah, we're just about ready to open up. We're at the finish line. We're in 2025. But see, they don't G-check him like they should. In other words, when he comes onto the show, they say, wait a minute, 5 years ago, you said that you were almost done, Umar. They don't do that. They placate to his ass. That's what they do. In fact, one of the times they were talking to him as if the school was already open, children enrolled and everything. I said, boy, y'all on some bullshit if I ain't. So some of them, they're complicit. Some of them, they know that he's shady, but they have him on because they know that he has views. There are some people, they don't want to challenge you. Okay? They just don't want to challenge him. I don't believe in that. You challenge a con man, you challenge any man who's doing wrong, period. That's what you do. That's what you're supposed to do as a man, right? Thanks, user 225. Dr. Staples says, I got it. Well, congratulations. Yeah, I got your email. Congratulations. You got a new job. Yeah, do what you do. Do what you do. That's what you do. Thank you for the super chat. User 225 says, no lie, I dreamt I was ice cave diving with. What? Listen, it's a dream because you ain't gonna catch me doing that. I'll be watching them videos with the cavers and the videos with the what do they call that? Not the snorkelers, but they be going down in the water. I don't play that stuff. I'll be watching what's his name? I can't remember the other guy. There's two of them. One of the guys' name is Willie or something like that. He's a Jewish guy, and the other guy looks like he's Mexican or something. They have a show. I've been watching this for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years now. And I'll be watching their shows, and they be reviewing stuff and divers, the diver talk or something like that. And I don't play that. You ain't gonna catch me. I don't play with none of that. And the people that be going in the cave, I'll go in the cave, but I ain't gonna be squeezing through stuff or nothing like that. These people, they crazy. I'll be watching those videos. Thanks, user 225. FDMG, oh my God. FDMG doors. I heard you were sneaking in this. Yeah, we clowned the shit out of you. I apologize, but you weren't new. That's the thing. Umar was trying to pass these used doors off as brand new. That's what he said. He's such a con man. Y'all remember that? Hit the one. We almost done. He was up there. Yeah, we got new doors. It cost $20,000 or something like that. I can't remember what he said. But come to find out, as we looked at the digital forensics, as it were. We looked at the pictures of what he showed, and they're all scratched up. They didn't even fit properly. There's a big old gap in between. Then he put one of the doors, shout out to Ike. He had one of the doors, he had closed it, and there was a massive gap in between like this. They're not fitted doors. Probably someone donated to him, but he tried to pass them off as brand new. He's a con man. Yeah. FDMG doors. Those doors look clean, though. I ain't gonna lie. I know that's not a picture from the school. I know that for sure. Okay. Thanks, FDMG doors, for the super chat. SH Places, I forgot about it. How they went after you. None of those things age well. You got your degree and grew your podcast. Yeah. The thing, though, too, SH Players, as I used a lot of the criticism, the legitimate criticism that I got as motivation to do better. And I'm doing a whole lot better these days. I think that's part of manhood, too. There is legitimate criticism and constructive criticism, and we can use that and we can consider it and then think about what we can do in order to improve ourselves. And that's precisely what I'll do. A lot of the people that were not only, some of them had legitimate criticisms, because I'm not going to take that away from people. I'm always fair. But some of those same people, and there's also other people that they were just coming up with all kinds of lies and just throwing all kind of crazy shit up out there for people. And there's people who bought into it and they believed it, but it doesn't age well because truth always rises to the top. And the thing I've noticed about a lot of those people is that they've gone down in their life. Like the trajectory of my life, it's actually gone in this direction. And I've observed theirs has gone in this direction. Okay, so that's telling in and of itself. See, at the end of the day, people can lie, and you can lie on a person, but time always tells the truth. I've been saying that for years now. Time always tells the truth. And I'll propose that if, in fact, you're lying on people, disparaging people simply to cause harm, everything will fall apart. I would propose that things have already fallen apart in a person's personal life to get online and to behave like that in any way. You see what I'm saying? I've been very careful. That's one thing I've been very careful, because it would be easy to get wrapped up in that and go back and forth. In my opinion, it's a waste of time. I don't have time like that. I'm too old, got too many kids and a wife to take care of. I got Cook Crush Chat. I got to we got to get going here. I ain't got time for no bullshit. So I've been very careful not to get wrapped up in all that. But what I've observed is that the people who were lying the most and making up the most ridiculous shit, that their lives, the trajectory of their personal life, dwindled. Okay. There are some people that actually came up in terms of social media, but then there's other areas of their lives, like their physical health, that's deteriorated to an extreme degree. And you look at them today, and they may be doing well on social media, but if you look at where they're at today physically and compare it to where they were at when they were spreading all these lies and stuff, lying on me and my wife and shit, you can tell like they've really, really gone down. But that's a consequence. There's always consequences one way or the other, good or bad. See, I've just tried my best to be, I don't like to use the term, but to be as righteous as possible, meaning that I'm not going to get caught up in all the bullshit. And I'm not going to be going back and forth with people. And I knew, and I still know what the agenda is, and that is to expose Umar as a fraud and do it in a way where I'm not trying to cause harm. See, I'm not trying to make up shit and disparage him, because it never ages well. See, lies, they never age well, because time always tells the truth. And I said that a long time ago. I still believe that to this day. Right? That's my motto. So thank you for saying that too. I appreciate it. Yeah, I have come a long way. I still got a long way to go. I really do. And I'm thankful for all y'all support. You know, I'm thankful for people showing up. It's been a long journey dealing with this Umar stuff. And I've been through a lot, but I never saw myself as a victim. I've been someone who I was mad at Umar for a while. But then at a certain point, I realized that it's just part of the business, you know, at the end of the day. We're dealing with someone who is, he's a con man and who's mentally disturbed. And at a certain point, it's not like that today, but at a certain point, he had a lot of people who were rocking with him and were willing to get online and say all kind of crazy shit and lie about people and make up shit and, you know, threaten people and everything. He doesn't have that anymore. And part of the reason why is because I've exposed his bum ass. Real talk. Not to be like that, but that's real talk. Okay. Thanks, SH Play, for super chat. I appreciate it. SH Play also says, I also remember when you and Umar faked having the power on in the building. Yeah, you remember when Umar faked having the power on in the building? It looked like he was breaking in. Yeah, I remember that. Now, he did get power on at a certain point, but that's another. See, I forgot about that because there's different segments in terms of the timeline. It's like some sort of a fanciful story, like a storybook novel. But there's different sagas. One was the HVAC saga. Another one was the Blueprint saga. Another one was a school search saga that went on for a long time. That went on from 2014, really 2015, because this is after St. Paul's. So I'm just talking about after he let go of St. Paul's, talking about it at least. 2015 until 2019, there was a whole school search. And then when he gets these abandoned buildings in Wilmington, Delaware, the next thing that comes up is he has to find blueprints. So it's always something. Then he gets the blueprints and he has to find a contractor. Then he has to find this, and then he has to get an HVAC unit. Then he has to find an HVAC tech, and it just keep going. But there was a time where he was trying to find an electrician. Yeah. So yeah, there were times when Umar would go up in there and act. I mean, everything is a stage show. It's like written out of a novel or something like that. And inevitably, he did get electricity turned on. And a lot of people don't know this, but he had professionals come in to start with the electricity, and it was a company, and it was some brothers that came in. They were legit and professional and everything. They come in to do the job, and at a certain point, Umar puts out a certain amount of money. I think it was like $16,000, if memory serves me correctly, something to that effect. Okay, I mean, I would have to really go back and do the research, but I think it was like $16,000. And so he put money out, and they get just enough electricity turned on, because even in 2025 there's still exposed wires hanging out. There's rooms that don't have electricity. I'm talking about inside what he calls a small school and the small gym. In fact, there are places where the actual fixtures aren't even there. You know, they've fallen down and you see exposed wires, that type of thing. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done, even with electrical work. But they got just enough done to make it look as if Umar had made some serious progress. I gave Umar credit for the electricity. I don't mean to go off on this, but this is part of the history. I gave him credit for that. See, but the thing is that Umar, it's all smoke and mirrors. He wanted to give the illusion of major progress, and as soon as he was able to fabricate that, what does he do? He fires the electricians. They didn't finish the job. They didn't. I have receipts on that too, by the way. I won't share it, but I have receipts on that. Okay, and I do. I have the video. It's actually a phone call. That's beyond the scope. Okay, and the electricians who are professional, they actually tell. They say, no, well, he ended up firing us. He got a certain amount of work done. He paid a certain amount of money, but then he just let us go. He didn't want us to finish. Well, why not? Because Umar didn't want to spend any more money. He wanted to spend just enough money to give the illusion of progress and to get some electricity turned on. And here we are now in 2025, and there's still exposed wires. There's still missing fixtures here and there. There's still panels that are still missing. See? But that's Umar. It's always something with this guy. But I remember this. Yeah. Then that was the water. Remember the plumber? There was a whole plumber saga. There was the roof saga too. he had Pookie and Ray Ray up there on top of the roof. One of them had on some house shoes. They were supposed to be the ones that are going to do the roof. I kid you not. I have the video. Anyway, okay. Thanks, SH Play. The memories. What's up, Alden? Alden sent in the super sticker. Alden been around a long time, too. Shout out to Alden. I appreciate you. Miranda sent in a super sticker. Thank you so much, Miranda. I appreciate it. And Miranda also says, hey, Cookie Crush Chat, I'm joining late and haven't been on for a while, but I have my popcorn and cold Pepsi sitting and getting ready to get. You're going to get you a cold pop. All right, well, welcome. We're almost done. I was supposed to go for 2 hours. We're at the 3-hour mark right now. I'm going to have to change. Thanks for the super chat too, Miranda, and everyone else. I'm going to have to change the title to this video because, no, they did. They had on some house shoes. They real talk. I think one of them had on a do-rag or something. I'm exaggerating that part. Okay, so I'm gonna end up changing the title to this particular video. The video that I wanted to get to today. Well, one of the things I want to show is how Umar doesn't know how to deal with real men. So I want to play. Let's do this. We'll go for another 20. Let's go 20 more minutes. Okay, I'm really excited myself because I got to go to bed. We'll go 20 more minutes. I want to play this right here just because I just want to give you guys an example of Umar and how he doesn't know how to deal with men. His main target is black women. Okay, and that's that he does that on purpose. He's like a predator in that way. This is a video. I believe this video is from 2021, maybe 2020. I can't remember. Here we go.
Right.
Thank you.
No problem, my brother.
Yeah, am I up?
Yes, sir. Where you calling from?
No, this is before that. This has to be before that. Yeah.
Illinois.
Go right ahead.
No, it is. I think this is 2020.
Yes, sir. Chicago is Tuesday the 26th,
Hey, what's up,
first day of
Angel? How you
Kwanzaa.
doing?
Harold Jackson said at 6 o'clock. Doors open at 4.
She's been around a long time too.
Because about 2 months ago, my old lady called in and he gave her some advice. And she followed up with it, but it put our son in a little compromising position. And, he was already going to see a specialist, professional therapist, for his situation. And you shared some information with her, and she followed up on it and put it in place. And then called us a real financial burden on this end. So what
advice did I give her? No, tell me what you're talking about first. What advice did I give her?
It was dealing with the school and his IEP situation. He was already going to see a professional therapist, so we was taking care on this end. I had told her, don't be listening to nobody on no YouTube because, they don't really know what they're talking about. But she took it upon herself, and she followed.
First of all, I know exactly what I'm. Whoa, time out, bro.
She didn't want me to know about it.
Wait, time out. Dude, bruh.
I'm gonna see you in Chicago.
All right, then see me then. And get off my call. See me then.
Uncompromising position.
You ain't even tell. Wait, what kind? All right, I'll see you then. Don't threaten me.
Because my old lady trying to hide this from me.
You still ain't told me. You still haven't said what piece of advice I gave your old lady to follow. You still ain't told me. So tell me that first.
Yeah, he's in a Pan African library. That's what he calls it, but it's a storage unit. He puts some floppy shelves in the storage unit. You see the light. There's no light in there. Anyway, this is before 2020. I'm trying to find the original video. Let me see if I can find it.
You need to talk to her because she won't even disclose it. I found.
So how you know what I told her if she won't even disclose it? If she won't disclose it, how you know?
And she called in.
If she won't disclose it.
Break down and say, yeah, I called in. I know you told me not to call in, but this is what he told me to do, and I apologize. So I'm calling you to let you know, bro, when you share information with these women, you need to check the background to make sure they're good.
First of all, everything I say is good. Everything I say is good.
Narcissism.
All right, we're going to have a conversation then. Everything I share is good, bruh. You don't know me.
But you share information, and you know how.
Everything I share is good. You ain't told me yet. Whatever, man. You just a hater, bro. You just a hater. You ain't even told me what information, man. What advice did I give? You still ain't told me yet. Come on, man. You just call it in hating. What you talking about? What advice did I give her that was wrong? You still ain't said it. I'm going to go to the next caller. Go ahead, go ahead. What about the IEP? There's a million issues with the IEP. What are you talking about? And why you got to spend money if it's an IEP issue? If it's an IEP issue, what you bringing up money for? Because it don't cost you no money.
You told her to go out and get private testing, bro. That's what you told her to do.
Let me tell you what I told her. Let me tell you what I probably told her. Let me tell you what I probably told her.
See, Umar doesn't know what he told her.
You want to listen? Do you want to listen for a minute?
And we don't need to be in.
Do you want to listen for a minute? Do you want to listen for a minute? First of all,
I'll listen.
all right, well, listen then. Listen, no, but you calling up here with a nasty attitude, man. Nobody's scared of you, family. I'll be in Chicago. You want to talk to me, you talk to me. Nobody's scared of you. What I'm telling you is, listen, you ain't, listen. You won't even listen, man. What she got to pay to get private testing for when you have a right to get an independent educational eval and the school district got to pay for that? She ain't got to pay for no eval. She can make them get an independent and the school district pay. I know because I do them in Pennsylvania. Every parent who knows me knows.
I think this is 2018. That's my best guess.
That they always have a right to an independent educational evaluation and the school district pays for it. So why did y'all have to pay for an eval?
Because she didn't know that.
If she talked to me, she knows that. If she talks to me, she knows that. If she talks, yes, I did, brother. Yes, I did.
I found a video where Dr. Valentine went in on Umar. It was in 2017. I should pull it up, play it for y'all.
Brother, everybody on this call know I talk about that.
She could get him tested on the outside. And she took the money and paid him to get tested on the outside.
Nah, I didn't tell her that. I know I didn't tell her that. I know I didn't tell her that. I never tell parents that.
Well, you go back and play the tape.
Go back and
2 months ago.
I don't have to.
He said 2 months ago.
I don't have to play the tape, bruh.
You over talking him. He's a psychologist. He knows exactly what he told.
Here go that lady. It always sounds like the same lady, the one that called into the show. She tried to defend Umar and then she started cursing. I said, "Oh, calm down." It sounds like the same lady.
But you're just going like with rhetoric, just repeating stuff, and you sound crazy. You don't even have any validity behind your statement, and you sound very unintelligent.
See, a man would not let a woman. I'm just being real. Y'all call me sexy if you want to. A man would not let a woman get up here and defend the man. That's not her. The man's supposed to defend the woman. I get that, but see, Umar, he can't deal with a real man, so he's gonna let this young lady speak on his behalf. Okay, he's a punk. I know it sounds sexist, but I just don't believe in that. Okay, you should be able to stand up to whatever criticism and whatever's being expressed by another man, and you deal with it directly. You don't have no woman speak on your behalf. That's crazy. But that's just me.
And you're drowning me out, and it's very annoying. If you don't have any factual statements, yeah, you do. If you don't have any factual statements when you're coming to this man and it's black people.
Yeah, I found the original video. It's from December 5th of 2017. Okay, so it goes back a while. Yeah, he did quite a few of these videos where he's inside this. He called it I think he called it the Pan African International Library or something like that. Yeah, and this is the same year that Umar he picked up a lot of weight and his face is real fat too. I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna show you that too.
So that's the problem. We don't respect anybody that's in a higher level, especially when they're African American. If you don't have any factual statements or coming with any level of intellect when you're speaking to someone that has done what he's done for the community, and okay, even if he did maybe misinform her, which I don't think he did, you're not even giving the man the benefit of the doubt. But if it was a white person, you will automatically give them the benefit of the doubt.
She sound like Umar.
Let them speak. You haven't even let this man speak. You're telling me you're going to see him. You're not going to see him anywhere. We are our own worst enemy. What do you mean you're going to see him? That's a threatening statement, and you're not even giving this man the opportunity to speak. You need to let him speak before you're doing it. That is very rude and disrespectful.
See, Umar, you should be man enough to deal with this yourself.
He's doing us a favor. He's on this call to do a favor. to the community.
I want to see the man talk with him.
This
No, but you just listen and give him a chance. You need to give him a chance to speak. You need to give him a chance to speak.
First of all, you need to talking to you.
No, so what? I'm listening to the book and you're talking about it. No.
He's supposed to be a school psychologist. He said he was a conflict resolution expert. Look how he handling this.
let me jump in, Queen.
Don't do that. She is repeating exactly what Umar be saying, though. Anyway.
Let me jump in, Queen, and I appreciate it, but let me jump in. Let me jump in. Hold on, everybody. Let me say this. Let me say this.
This is a mess.
Here, let me say this. And the brother being very disrespectful to our sister, very disrespectful. She doesn't have to mind her business either, because she did not disrespect you.
See, this Umar placating. Yeah, he is. He's caused all kinds of problems for all kinds of people. I mean, there are people who genuinely, their children genuinely needed psychological services, but they chose not to because of Umar's rhetoric. Yeah, he's very dangerous. Yeah, it's unfortunate too. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right, Edward. It would be crazy.
Listen to me, bruh. Listen to me. This is what I want you to do. Let me. What? Listen. Nobody's scared of you, family. Listen. This is what I want you to do. Listen. I want the brother to text me.
There we go. Such a mess. We're winding this down. Here's Umar, what I was talking about yesterday or day before yesterday, how he really, the money wasn't going towards opening up a school. The money was going towards Umar, and one of his major addictions is food. Okay, he's gluttonous. It is what it is. And this is an excellent example of that, because he had been eating so much that his face, you could just look at the inside of his face, it just blew up. Look.
Peace and love, Black family. This is the Prince of Pan Africanism coming to you live. And
this is September 7th of 2017. Remember, he started raising money in 2014, the middle of 2014.
Direct from Buffalo.
See, he had been living off of that money. That's why in 2019, he has $400,000 basically left over, a little more than that, as he says, $425,000. We'll give him benefit of the doubt. And then he can't get renovations started right away, even though he should have been sitting on about $850,000 at that time. But the reason why he couldn't get renovations started right away was because he had spent all the money. So he has to come up with this whole scheme about how he needs to find the blueprints first before he can actually start renovations. Well, a lot of that money that he tricked off prior to purchasing those abandoned buildings, it went into his gut. And this is an example of it. He was eating really, really good.
New York. Today, we're going to have a special Black parent teleconference call. I now refer to the Black parent teleconference movement as the Underground Railroad, because that is how I see it. I see it as myself and many of you who are helping me as the lead conductor of this 21st century Underground Railroad.
Boy, this guy, he's nuts.
To help as many of our parents and educators as possible to keep our children, especially our boys, from falling victim to modern day slavery, otherwise known as the school to prison pipeline. So I've been getting a lot of calls for assistance from parents, and most of you well know that I have been out.
Yeah, he had really been eating. This is probably, I want to say this is probably Umar at his largest weight. And I'm not saying that to disparage him. I just want people to understand that the money that Umar was receiving, he has addictions gambling addiction. He has substance abuse addiction issues. He also has eating issues. He likes to eat. He's gluttonous. And to understand that Umar, he had never had that type of money coming in. And remember, he said he had collected $500,000 in a year and a half. That's a lot of money to come in. And people say, well, that's for the school. No, it was all personal income because he didn't have tax exempt status. And he wasn't. And then when he got it at that time, he wasn't reporting to the IRS. So it got revoked. So ultimately, because he wasn't reporting it to the IRS, that's all considered to be personal income. And if you guys look at his financial records, public domain, you'll see that that's when he started racking up these major tax liens. Well, the issue is that the money wasn't going towards opening up a school. That was 2014, 15, 16, 17. He didn't acquire these abandoned buildings until 2019. So where did all that money go? Well, this is in part, it went into his gut. He was eating really, really good. You know, motel rooms, you know, traveling all over the place. Again, some of it was paid for. I'm always fair. It was paid for when they would have him come out to speak. But then some of it is actually Umar just living his best life, ordering out food, room service, so forth and so on.
Of the country, 2 weeks in Africa for the group tour, which took us from the end of July into almost the middle of August. And then I just came back from a life-changing 10-day tour of Cuba. Shout out to Black Cuba, which happens to be an ancestral homeland for me. My great-grandfather having been born there. And
yeah, and I can pull up the receipt. He was a white Cuban. I have the actual document. He classified himself as a white Cuban. I have a video where Umar says he's an Afro-Cuban because he's a liar. No, I have the document.
Initiated into the mysteries of Ifa while I was there, which explains the bald head. Okay, but be that as it may, brother.
Boy, he was eating real good. He got his head bigger than mine.
And sisters, today is the Black Parent Teleconference call. If you have a question about a child, I only looking to change behavior.
Yeah, he was trying to sell pillows at this time. I forgot about this. Yeah, we almost done. He was trying to sell pillows. Shout out to Cookie Crush Chat. This show has been wild. I forgot he was trying to sell FDMG pillows
for those 10 days. That could very well be the trigger, or some got evaluated. You know, I don't like.
No, it says no. It says no, and that's what.
No problem. Thank you. Are you ready? Good brother. Where you calling from?
Hello?
I mean, this guy, he looked like Antoine Walker. Remember Antoine, the basketball player?
The top, but other. Yeah, I got to get those. I got to get those function buttons again. It sounded like they kind of turned it. They might have turned it off.
What in the world? People used to troll him with they would call in and one time someone called in and they had it on repeat. It was saying, where is the academy? Where is the academy? And it was just repeated over and over again. That's what happens right here. They trolling him.
Yeah, I'm here. Some fool is playing Prince very loud, trying to drown out the call. Our people are so full of hate. Can we please turn off the Prince music?
Oh my God. Oh man, I have to take this real quick note. Then we're gonna be done. I want to pull up do y'all want me to pull up Phil Valentine, Dr. Valentine going in on Umar? He was nice about it, but that could be the last thing for today. So this video is from 2017, and this is at 1 hour and 22-minute mark. I gotta go to bed, y'all. Okay, I had to take this note right here, and I'll put fat face, red hat. Okay. Let me just do this real quick. I'm going to pull up the Dr. Valentine. This is from 2017. I believe this was after the SETI rant because that had blown up and a lot of people were talking about it, and including elders in the Black conscious community. And Dr. Valentine actually spoke about it right here. So we'll do this and we'll be done for today. Thank you guys so much. SH Play says, don't forget the stinky building tour. The supporters were not impressed. Okay, I'm done. Yeah, That was another thing in the saga. He doesn't do that these days. He hasn't actually done it in years. I can't remember the last time he did a tour. But when he first acquired his abandoned building, he did a tour, outside tour. He didn't do an inside tour because he said he didn't have any electricity. Ironically, though, he had his supporters up there and he would walk them through, and he did a couple of videos like this in 2019. He would walk them through the abandoned buildings and there's no lights on. They were actually literally walking through with their cell phone flashlights, and trash all over the place, exposed wires, shit all over the floor, and people just walking through, tripping and everything. He doesn't do those types of tours anymore, but back then he did them, and there was quite a few of them. One of them, they went up in there and there was a massive hole in the roof. You can literally look up and see the sky. Just crazy. He shouldn't have people in there. The buildings are still on the vacant property list. Technically, he shouldn't have people in there even now. Outside of people who are professionals who are doing renovation work. He shouldn't have your everyday person up in there. Period. It's just a shit show. I mean, it was a shit show then. It's a shit show now. Back then, one last point, he used to show the other side of the street, if people remember. He would actually go onto the other side of the street, and there was no electricity, but he would still walk people through. He hasn't shown the other side of the street and hasn't shown any video footage of the other side of the street. It's been over 5 years. That's telling in and of itself. Half a decade. And I will propose that one of the reasons why is because he's turned that other side of the street into his own little hoarder spot. That's where he stores shit, including his personal belongings. Umar's been homeless since 2019. See, and if people saw the most recent pictures of the gym, the small gym, he's turned that into a hoarder space. But that's later. That's after he done filled up a whole bunch of shit on the other side. He started packing stuff inside the small gym. And if you go in there, you'll see it's shit all over the place, and then just a little walkway down the middle, just like when he was living in filth, and he flipped that phone and showed his hoarder situation, shit all over the place, filth all over the place, and then a walkway down the middle. It's the same thing, just reinvented these days. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, there's so many memories. I mean, so many things we can bring up. Just real quick, I remember the anti-protest protest. That was another thing that was huge. Waiting on the HVAC was huge. This list goes on and on and on. Thanks, SH Play, for the super chat. Okay, let me play this and then we're going to be done. Okay, a lot of y'all haven't seen this. This is from March 16th of 2017.
TV.
All right, Sonetta. All right, here we go right here.
Sepata. Good enough. Okay, a few announcements. Do I need this?
Till you get the lavalier.
Okay, I thought the lavalier was on. It's on?
Yeah.
The lavalier is on? No, okay. In March, from the 18th through the 20th, I will be in Atlanta to do a 3-day Equinox presentation at the Hilton Garden, Stonecrest Mall in Lithuania, Georgia. For information on price and reservations, please call Sister Alicia at 404-401-7448. For those who seek to enhance their whole food nutritional intake for themselves and their families, please call my wife, Dr. Nalani Valentine, about inquiring about Juice Plus. 800-847-1291. Or messenger her.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Infonoids, it's a doozy. This one, it's a classic. I gotta say, especially with all the breakdown of the financials and the Trapabando.
At Facebook, that's Nalani Valentine.
Yeah.
Nalani Valentine. And that number is for all other services as well at our university, our homeschooling for children, starting at ages 6 and above, our UKS adult classes in metaphysical psychology and classical naturopathy, as well as Medunetr. Excellency, Dr. Antonio, The Conscious Path, for instance, Kwame Ture, who I sat in audience right before forward. Our so-called conscious community was stricken by an infection, one that and prosecuted. It hurt my heart, and well, let me go forward. Our so-called conscious community was stricken by an infection, one that crippled logic, discernment, and reason, destroying our empathy for one another. For example, let me be clear. Having sat with true warriors, in the fight to bring us closer to the African continent. I have never once heard my brother, for instance, Kwame Ture, who I sat in audience right before he made his transition, ever call himself a prince of Pan Africanism. Because the true warriors never held a coronation to adorn themselves with self-proclaimed royalty. I've never heard a founding father of that became, or what became known as the conscious community, refer to themselves as a Hollywood ape that hung from the Empire State Building when referring to their contributions and participation in the conscious community. I've never seen my elders yell, cuss, scream, and hurl invectives at one another and call that debating. If there was a debate, it was with the recognized enemy, not your family. And worse yet, I've never ever heard any of my contemporaries in the conscious community fix their faces to say, fuck the elders.
Yeah, that's what SETI actually said that. Yeah, because this is all in response to the SETI rant, Umar SETI rant, and everything that was going on back then in 2017. Actually, I think it was at the end of 2016 when it all took place, but this video comes out in March 16th of 2017.
And through all this madness, this ego-driven chaos, I kept hearing, where are the elders? Why are they not stepping up to say something about this desecration of the platform and principle? We warned on camera. I'm here to tell you, we warned on camera to tell you that we already warned those who participated in this tragic fiasco of the consequences that would be incurred if they continued their course of action. We warned on camera that they would spread the psycho-spiritual disease to our community. They'd spread the contagion of contention, the contagion of separation, the contagion of divisiveness, and the contagion of divisiveness. But the public never got to see that tape, that DVD. The warning never went public, so you really didn't know that the elders were already there. How many of you all were at the National Black Theater at the time? When I warned. And I think I was speaking for all the elders as well. We didn't need to be arguing with one another to make a point. And finally, when you fix your face to say F the elders, such words reverberate backwards and forwards through time and space, through the Akasha, through the Nu, through the Ethereum, and will be heard by Natir Ma'at, who will cause those who think and speak such filth to be revisited by the demonic spirit they invoked by even speaking those words. The following names belong to those I both have met personally or have read about their legacies, to whom I have studied with a passion that sustains my ethics and unyielding resolve. Were they perfect? No. Am I perfect? Hell no. I never claimed to be. See, when you say F the elders, here are a very brief idea of the men and women who are the elders you just spit upon. First, here are the elders who emancipated us from the chains of our left brain. Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Chancellor Williams, Dr. Ben, Dr. Van Sertima, Dr. Amos Wilson, Sheikh Andy Diop, Dr. Leonard and Rosalind Jeffries, Dr. Richard King, Dr. James Smalls, Dr. Aishaka Musa Barashango, Dr. Aisha Hilliard, Dr. Francis Kress, Dr. Neely Fuller, Baba Dick Gregory, Sister Shahrazad Ali, Brother Steve Coakley, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, and Dr.
I remember all these people.
Ann Brown. And those are just a few, because I am just naming those.
We'll take care of your mic.
Okay.
Ann is here too. Ann Brown is here.
We just
take care of it and get it on for you.
Oh, okay. No, this one is working. This one is not. Wait a minute. Excuse me. Feel like I'm dressing in front of everybody, right? I'm sure this is the one. Yep. And now those elders who emancipated us from the chains of our right brains. See, there's a left brain emancipation of elders and a right brain emancipation. And I lead off, of course. I would like to say that we are about to get into what I call a PhD presentation. The kind of information that we're going to be speaking about. Let me adjust. Can you hear me? These are the little foibles that happen when you are trying to do the right thing. But they're just challenges to be met, to be overcome. And with that, I'm about to tweak your brains. Now, y'all know me, right? I say things that sound crazy today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if he continues to talk. I don't think he does. Anyway, it's interesting that even back then, with everything that was taking place with the SETI rant, there were people who were considered to be elders in the Black conscious community who were speaking out against Umar, excuse me, including Dr. Smalls. He did a video. Let me see if it comes up, and it will be done. It may not come up because I don't know how I archived it. He did a video where he was speaking about Umar, and let me see if it comes up over here. Dr. James Smalls, because he reached out to Umar, and Umar didn't accept his assistance or guidance. But that's Umar. He's been like that for a very long time. Yeah, it's not coming up, but I do have the video because I've actually covered it. I've played it a couple of times, maybe even once. I may have only played it one time. But it's an interview. It's someone's interviewing. I can't remember the brother's name too, because he's actually been on the show before. Let me see if it comes up. Oh, here it is, right here. Yeah, Zion Lex. Yeah, that's the brother. But let me play that real quick, and it will be up. And shout out to the Cooking Crush Chat. I know it's a different type of show, but it was a classic. I don't remember where they start talking about Umar, so I'll have to skip.
Dissension can cause. What are we to carry away from it? And more importantly, how do we apply it to modern time? Because we have a brother named Umar Johnson, who is steadily losing support from a lot of Black people who feel that his system for setting up the school is a failing system. Are we to completely withdraw support for our brother based on some of what may be very obvious flaws? Or are we to try to find some kind of solution where we can actually go from critiquing him to helping him? How do we learn from the experience of Malcolm X?
First, we have to understand, what was the experience? Malcolm, as you were talking about, came out of a family.
Yes.
A family that was rooted in resistance to the tyranny against African peoples in America. When his mom got incarcerated, and they could say she was put in a mental home, that's incarceration. When they couldn't get you through the court system, they put you through the mental system, which was even more harsh than the court system. His father had been assassinated by the Klan. He was taken into the home of his older sister, Ella, in Boston. And he lived in that house not only with Ella, but with his two aunts, his father's two sisters, Gracie and Sarah. No one ever talks about them. Gracie Little and Sarah Little. You know, Gracie was a homemaker. Sarah was a school teacher who graduated from Spelman. And so these are the people who finished molding the Malcolm X that we got to know, along with his sister Ella, who was one of the most pernicious political leader in the Black community of Boston and one of the wealthier peoples in Boston from the Black community. And so people just remove that so you don't see the molding of this man. So that, because if the nation could build him, they would have built that kind of man out of the children of Elijah. He had many sons, but he didn't produce a Malcolm X from none of them. You can only take what comes, and Malcolm came with the products. That became Malcolm X. And what we saw was envy, jealousy, hatred that resulted in violence. Envy, jealousy, and hatred derives from ignorance.
Yeah, Malcolm's my guy too. That's the guy. I remember I had a teacher. She was fine too. I had a little crush on her. She was a, what they call that, a teacher's aide. She was learning, a teacher in learning, whatever they call that, like an apprentice. She was learning how to be a teacher, and she gave me Malcolm X, the autobiography of Malcolm X. He said, I think it'd be good for you to read this. And this was around the time when Spike Lee's Malcolm X was coming. Everyone was wearing X medallions and all that stuff. Anyway, Malcolm, that was my guy. Still is to this day. I have a lot of respect for him.
If the appropriate knowledge, people got knowledge. If the appropriate knowledge was there, then people would have moved towards, as it says in Proverbs, from knowledge to understanding, from understanding to wisdom, from wisdom to enlightenment, and this would have never happened. But it tells us that the appropriate knowledge wasn't in place. They had knowledge, but it wasn't the appropriate knowledge. Because wisdom is the application of appropriate knowledge. And so in this case, we saw desire to usurp the position that Malcolm had created for himself, envy of the fact that he is in this exalted position, jealousy of the fact that I can't be in that exalted position because I'm not willing to sacrifice what he sacrificed, and then hatred that led to the violence that led to his death. And when we come back to Brother Umar, I love Brother Umar. He's made some mistakes, but I've seen him correct many of those mistakes.
Yes.
He says he now has a facility, but we know to open a school from scratch requires millions of dollars.
That's right.
Just to set up your facility. We own a business in Africa, and I've been struggling with that business for years, so I know what it takes to run an institution, and so we need to reach out to Umar, but Umar needs to reach back.
That's
One
right.
of his weaknesses
That's important.
When people reach out to him, he don't reach back. And he needs to reach back if he wants the support from the brothers and sisters. And then he needs to be transparent so we know what we're supporting.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll talk.
And give us the opportunity to advise you and whether this is probable or possible. Take the critique. Whatever decision you make to do after the critique is given, at least give us the opportunity to give you that critique. And then we can move forward as family.
Right.
But this situation we're in, where everybody's throwing darts at everybody, that's not the kind of life I came out of with my mother and my father, my grandparents and my great-parents, who all lived in the house that I grew up in, with some aunties and great-aunts and all the mothers in that house. I came into this world out of heaven. I came into New York out of heaven. Because South Carolina, in that woods, in that wooden building where I lived with those old people, that was heaven. And they sent me forth into this world. I'm them going forth into the world.
Think about it.
My children and me going forth into the world. And at the same time, they're also them. I am my ancestor. I'm the sum total of every ancestor. And so are you that have ever lived. And the first ancestor is God itself. So what are we then? God having a human experience.
That's right. I guess what I'm hinting at ultimately, Professor Smalls, and I'm using our good brother Umar Johnson as a template and as an example. How powerful are the speakers of tomorrow when they are backed by a council of elders? Because this is essentially what the brother
needs. Very powerful, because the elders represent a council that will deal with conflict resolutions based on wisdom and law as we understand it. And when you don't have that, you're in trouble. Because you're trying to respond based on arrogance or ego or defensiveness or injury or hurt or pain. You can't come to conflict resolution under those kinds of qualities, being the eminent players in the game. And that's why you need a council of elders. Like in any home, you have a mother and a father and a grandmother and grandpa. That's your council of elders.
Yeah, Umar doesn't have that. And he's said that he was going to have a council of elders, but it never materialized. It's just Umar as a one-man show. It's been like that from the beginning.
It was in the household. And they're there as the people who handle conflict resolutions, because they know the laws, they know the rules, they got experience with these things before. Umar and others need the same. I'm hoping he can get the school built, but we know no man can do it by himself, because our community needs such a model and such a school. It doesn't come easy, but we've done it before. And we could do it again with him and then replicate that in other places. He's a very skilled young brother. He's a very learned young brother in the psychology of children in the school system. And so it's up to people like you and other youngsters and myself, and I reach out to him all the time. But he is guilty of not reaching back. And I'm saying on air to him, Umar, when we reach out to you, reach back. Let us see how we can help you.
See, we've been talking about this a long time with Umar. It's a behavior pattern, and not just with elders who are trying to help him to get things on the right track or give him guidance. Remember, Umar calls himself the Black Christ. He believes that he's some sort of an anointed demagogue, you know, and therefore he's beyond reproach. No one can tell him anything, especially some elders. He thinks he believes that he's the Black Christ, literally. But the thing is that with Umar, it's not just with the elders reaching out and Umar not responding, you know, to seek out their guidance. It's also with people, professionals who have reached out to help Umar with this FDMG project. Umar does the same thing with them. He won't reach back at a certain point. Once he realizes that they're not going to donate money to him, he just won't respond to them anymore. There's people who've offered to do HVAC for him for free and plumbing for free. Do a website for free, help him with video production for free. The list goes on and on and on. I can run down a whole list of people over the years. Some of those people I've spoken with, some people, they've done their own videos online. Some of the people I've actually had as interview guests. But what the point is that if it's not the money, if they're not going to give him money directly, then Umar doesn't want to deal with them professionally. Well, the same thing applies to these elders. I'm sure if James Smalls, Professor James Smalls, if he reached out to Umar and said, listen, I got $1 million for you, will you think Umar will respond? Absolutely. See, it's all about the money. And Umar, his narcissism and his ego is so huge, he feels as if no one can tell him anything.
Many of us come to the table with different things, so we can't all do the same thing. And we may not even have the things you need.
Yeah, by the way, I donated to Q Better. I promoted him in the past. He actually got school buildings recently. I could pull it up and show it to you guys. It's nice too, really nice, with far less money than Umar has raised. If we ask Q Butter how much money he has raised, I guarantee you it would be less than a quarter of what Umar has raised. I guarantee it. And Umar has these abandoned buildings in Wilmington, Delaware. Q Butter recently, I'll think within the last 2 weeks, he was able to secure a new school buildings. I think it's down south, in excellent condition. It's a definite upgrade. And I think what he plans on doing is doing both schools in New York, but then also one down south. I think it's now. I think he said North Carolina or something like that. But again, it just goes to show you the difference. Umar, he's about money. He's not about helping the community. He's not about educating Black children or Black boys, for that matter. He's a charlatan and a con man, all the way across the board. So shout out to Q Butter too, because someone sent me a link to that. I think it was on Michi X. He showed a video of the new school building. I mean, it really looks really, really good, really good. So congratulations to him.
Right. But we may have something that you can use to get to the things you need. So, and that goes for anyone who's doing other things, because he's not the only one trying to build institutions in the Black community. But you must have a council of elders. You must have some people who can give you a greater wisdom than you have a chance, because you haven't attained that wisdom yet. And you're too busy in the field to even contemplate the wisdom of the others who have attained it. So you need to have those who have the time to contemplate that wisdom, to share that wisdom with you.
Last thing I'm going to ask you, I know I said that was the last thing. I'm going to ask you one more last thing, and this is personal. I don't assume that you watch everything I do, but I know that as an elder, you have observation skills that the youth could only dream to have.
Okay, yeah, I think that's all they talk when they talk about Umar. But I just want to share that with you all too, just to illustrate that even within the Black conscious community, there have been people who have spoken out against Umar. The way that they've done it is quite different than the way that I do it. But again, they haven't followed Umar's school scam like I have either. I would dare say that they're probably unaware of the magnitude of what Umar has done, especially from a financial standpoint, raising bare minimum at this point, I can prove $2.3 million. And Umar is still saying in 2025 that he hasn't even raised $1 million. Okay, that's not true. Okay, that's a blatant lie. And if we think about it, all the money that Umar has raised, not one Black child has benefited from it. Not one Black child has been educated. Not one Black boy has been educated. So what we have is someone who's taken out of the Black community a bare minimum $2.3 million at a bare minimum, and that's money that could have gone towards something that actually benefits people. We have people like Q Butter that is actually doing things. I mean, it could have gone towards someone who's trying to open up a business in the Black conscious community someplace around the world. It's unfortunate because it takes money out and away from Black people, and it's not being used to benefit Black people at all. And there's no transparency. And Umar continues to run with this FDMG school scam 20 years and counting, because he conceptualized this in 2004. It's amazing. Okay, but that again, that's why I've been very much committed to staying on Umar and reporting and doing my analysis, providing the receipts, crunching the numbers, which was, in my opinion, I enjoyed that. I would love to look at the stats and stuff. And I've proven conclusively that Umar has raised bare minimum $2.3 million. And anyone, you can prove it. You can prove $1 million easily. Just depend on where you want to go. You want to start in 2014. You want to start in 2015. You want to start in 2016, 17. You look at the IRS filings. You look at what Umar said. He says he raised about $125,000 a year. You can just take that right there, $125,000 a year, multiply by 11. You're already at $1 million. So you can easily prove $1 million. I've been able to prove 2.3 million, but my best estimate is 2.6, 2.7 million dollars. And for what? There's no school. He's a con man. And I rest my case. Last point. If you can prove me wrong, prove to me that Umar has raised less than $1 million, I'd like to see it. You're not going to be able to do it. And I'm not challenging anyone to do it, hey, Lenon, I'm going to show you. No, don't even waste your time. I'm just saying there's a challenge out there. And that really, the challenge is going to Umar. Umar, prove to the people through transparency that you haven't raised $1 million. You'll never admit that. And the reason why is because it's all about the money. You want to keep as much money secret in terms of the amount of money that you collected so that you can continue to spend it on yourself, which is what you've been doing. The vast majority of the money that Umar has raised has gone towards himself. He's a con man and no shame whatsoever. All right, Cookie Crush Chat, thank you guys so much for tuning on in. I want to thank the mods for handling business today. Thanks everyone who sent in super chats or cash apps or PayPal. If you did that, thank you guys. I appreciate that as well. We'll be back next week. Okay. We got plenty of videos to get caught up on. We didn't even get to the video that I want to get to today, but it is what it is. Sometimes that's what happens in the Cookie Crush Chat. Please enjoy the rest of your evening. And I really appreciate y'all taking the time to watch this video. Let me, I totally forgot about the poll. Let me close the poll out so I can have that archived as well. The poll question is, how much money has Umar Johnson raised for FDMG since 2014? 10% said less than $1 million. 7% said $1 million. 12% said $1.5 million. And then 71% voted more than $2 million. I proved more than $2 million today during this live stream. So I want to thank everyone who voted. Over 1,000 people, almost 1,100 people voted for this poll. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and close that poll out now. And then we got up to 409 likes. That's great. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for that as well. And as we always do.
You're fancy, huh?
Yeah, Black community activist. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Well, good for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
See your eyes shine, she's my snow bunny, please. In the winter lights, she's my sweet dust of cream. Tuck to my nose, this lover's got is so raw. Make you goose, stepping out of.
Thanks, Erica, for tuning on in. I appreciate it. Yeah, hit the like, y'all. If you enjoyed the show, I appreciate it. Thanks, Frederick. Malika. Yeah, for what? Take some love. Thank you so much, John. Thank you so much for tuning on in. I appreciate it. I don't know. I think it's like close to 500,000. Thanks, Rondo, for being here in Summer Red Tree. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Thanks, Mojo. Thanks, Miss Independent. Thanks, Jess. Yeah. Yeah, Andy. Y'all show me love and hit that like button. Black Mario. Andy. Sweet Tea. Thank you so much, Sweet Tea. Erica, for tuning on in. Took for a test undefeated. Frederick. What's up, Ike? What's up, Chief Lodger? Booty Barbie and Malika. Miss Gemini. Miss Independent. Yeah, have a good weekend. Your field to see that. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Cortina. Shout out to Sharif, Anonymous Christian, Brother Joshua, Sports Bet, Indigo Goddess. Oh, don't do that, Sharif. Y'all mean. Y'all don't be mean to Umar. All right, go on and get it. Y'all be Dr. Seven. Next to my still with the dog there. Yeah. Thanks, V8. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Happy Father's Day. I think it's on Sunday, right? Yeah. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks, Techie. Dear God, appreciate y'all. Everyone else in the Cooker Chat, I appreciate y'all. Yeah, happy Father's Day to everyone in advance. I think it's on Sunday. Again, thank y'all for tuning on in. I hope you enjoyed the show. I really appreciate y'all's presence. And I love y'all. Okay, sincerely. Okay, I'll see y'all very, very soon. Y'all take care. Peace.